Your court has been tracking the story very closely. Riyanka, in terms of the arguments that were put forth by the Central Bureau of Investigation as well as Arvind Kejriwal's legal counsel, just put that into perspective.
That's right. The CBI has in fact told the Rouse Avenue Court that Arvind Kejriwal is not cooperating. That has been the main argument by the CBI today. And we know that it is a setback, a major setback once again for Arvind Kejriwal in the excise policy case now by the CBI, which is in fact taking a look at the corruption angle in the entire case. So 14-day judicial custody for Arvind Kejriwal. He will continue to be in the Tihar jail. So the trouble will not end there. Now, getting on to the arguments that were made, the court said that after the police custody, the court has no other option to send the accused to the judicial custody, because this particular custody, which was sought by the CBI earlier, was in fact opposed by the counsel of Arvind Kejriwal. In fact, the CBI has made several claims. The CBI says that Kejriwal could not explain why during the second wave of COVID-19, cabinet approval for revised excise policy was given in just 1 day time, when there was the leaders, when the members of the South group were present camping in Delhi for several days. So it was done in all hurry. So several questions are being raised there. In fact, the CBI has also told earlier to the court that they have evidence in order to show how Kejriwal has acted in this particular scam, which is why they need to interrogate him further. His custody had ended today by the CBI, but then trouble next for Kejriwal. He will continue to be in the Tihar jail for the next 14 days. Remember, in terms of the ED case, that custody ends on the 3rd of July, and by the CBI case, he has to be in the judicial custody till 12th of July.
Well, thank you very much, Riyanka, for getting us the latest details, a story that we have been tracking very closely. Shifting focus now to some raw footage coming in from Assam, where you would be seeing on your screens, due to continuous rains for the last 3 days, parts of Dibrugarh facing severe waterlogging. In fact, these are images coming in from the CRPF camp, which has been inundated in water. Well, in fact, various parts of Assam where waterlogging has now been reported. This is coming in from Upper Assam in Dibrugarh, where a CRPF camp has been inundated. In fact, labourers were also trapped in a wall collapse at an under-construction site in New Delhi's Vasant Vihar. Now, in a tragic news, all the 3 labourers who fell into a pit was recovered. Their bodies were recovered by the NDRF team after being found dead. Further search and probe still underway.
It was monsoon mayhem-like situation for the national capital yesterday, when we saw several tragedies taking place. One such happened at a posh locality in Vasant Vihar. These are the visuals of the site where the tragedy occurred. For now, what we're getting to know that 3 laborers who were trapped inside this particular site of the wall collapse, the bodies of the 3 laborers have been recovered. It was a 23-hour-long rescue operation by a joint effort done by teams of NDRF, police and fire brigade. 3 bodies have been recovered at this point in time. Unluckily, all the 3 lives have been lost. They were stuck beneath the debris of a mud slush, of trees that were uprooted, of the building materials that were being used. Why? Because of the massive rainfall that was happening, that took place in the national capital yesterday. The rescue operation has concluded. 3 bodies have been recovered. For now, we'll try and get you more details on this, but as of now, this is the update coming in from Vasant Vihar.
Ladies and gentlemen, 2 weeks after his fiery piece in the Organizer magazine, which created a massive stir, for the first time after the course correction article, RSS researcher and political analyst Ratan Sharda has finally broken his silence. Now, what is the real truth behind the BJP RSS rift rumors? Was there a coordinated message by the RSS to tone down the BJP in the election aftermath with all the talk around arrogance? Did the BJP fail to get RSS support in the 2024 election battle? Was the candidate selection and washing machine politics at the epicenter of the so-called divide? Ratan Sharda has set the record straight in this tell-all interview, finally clearing some air on the state of the BJP RSS ties in the Modi 3.0. Take a look at the excerpt where he answers some of the sharpest questions from Editor-in-Chief Arnab Goswami. The entire nation wants to know, which will be broadcasted in a short while from now.
What provoked you to write that article? You know, was there any sense of... The sense I got was that there was some internal discord between the
First
BJP.
of all, as I said, I am not holding any office in RSS.
No, you speak independently.
So, I do not know what Mohanji thought, because Mohanji spoke after 4 days of my writing the article. It just shows that Swayamsevak have similar thinking, and he is a supreme leader. He thinks before he speaks, and every word of his is measured. As I said, the context was wrongly chosen. That's one thing. And secondly, he also talked about the fake news which affected RSS also. RSS are dragged into the election, which was not done. And that is one thing. And since you talked about provocation, there is no provocation. It's just that organizer asked me to, write an article about lessons of 2024. And I sat down to write, and all the things that came to my mind, I put it down. Because, as you know, I have been monitoring politics for a long time. I'm a long-time supporter of Jan Sangh onward to BJP. I have seen the Jan Sangh go from 500 votes, where they would celebrate 500 votes, where not losing the deposit was a celebration. From that time, I've seen the growth of BJP. I've seen the 1984 period. I've seen the 75, 77. I have gone to jail with communist, socialist, and BJP and RSS people. So all that context is there. So naturally, as a family member of this ideological parivar, I had some thoughts that came to my mind. I put them on the paper. It was a concerned karyakarta, it was a concerned person. As a part of the ideological family, I put some ideas down on the paper, that's all. And for people to draw conclusions, somebody told me to write, somebody nudged me to write, nothing like that. And
you were writing on
organizer was good enough.
You were writing on your own.
Yeah, organizer good enough that they said, I asked them whether they want to publish it. He said, there is no harm at all.
Tell me, Mr. Sharda, that...
Because if you look at it, it may be
RSS
scathing, but there is no ill will. Because ultimately, I want BJP to grow and be strong.
Yeah.
Get ready to witness the best technology extravaganza of the year. The first edition of the Republic Business Emerging Technology Awards has received an overwhelming number of nominations. Dominating the categories are AI and robotics, healthcare, edutech, fintech, banking and finance, and martech. Groundbreaking innovations and revolutionary ideas from the largest digitalized economy in the world. Join us as we celebrate India's incredible digital growth story. Republic Business Emerging Technology Awards, Friday, 5th July 2024.
With over 1,12,718 startups igniting innovation, driving digital growth. Over 800 million internet users are bridging distances and strengthening bonds across the globe, making India the third largest digitalized country in the world, accounting for around 46% of the world's real-time digital transactions. To celebrate the makers and shakers behind Digital India and India's phenomenal Digital Yatra, Republic Business is delighted to bring its inaugural Republic Business Emerging Tech Awards.
News headquarters. Setting the agenda for Bharat. You're watching Republic.
Good evening, viewers. We are live and breaking from Republic Newsroom, and I'm Raksha Mishra with you this Saturday evening. Let's get started with the top story making headlines. Delhi, Jabalpur, and now Rajkot. Canopies of airport collapses after a few hours of rain. But who is responsible for the apathy? Family who lost their loved ones in apathy over monsoon mayhem narrates the ordeal, demands probe.
राष्ट्रपति जी के अभिभाषण के उपरांत धन्यवाद प्रस्ताव होती है उस सारे विषय में इसको उनको अवसर है चर्चा करने के लिए और सरकार की ओर से मैंने कल ही आश्वस्त किया है स्पष्टता के साथ कहा है कि हम सभी प्रकार की चर्चा के लिए प्रस्तुत हैं।
Probe in the NEET scam gathers pace. CBI arrests a journalist in Jharkhand, conducts searches in Gujarat. Government says Congress opportunists want chaos. After Owaisi raises Jai Palestine slogan in Parliament, he now claims that Israel flag was put at his residence and ink was thrown as well. And Indian origin astronaut Sunita Williams is stuck in the space. NASA finds measures to solve the issue. Prayers in India for our safety. All right, viewers, we start with the news that we are covering right now. Remember, in the busiest airport of the country, that is the Indira Gandhi International Airport, we saw how one person lost their life and several others have been injured after a rooftop collapse. And now, viewers, you can see those visuals coming in from other cities as well, from Rajkot and Jabalpur. You can see what is happening after rains hit these cities, raising questions over safety. And remember, this IGI airport incident is not the only one. Similar incidents are happening in Jabalpur and Rajkot as well. You can see how in the Rajkot airport, one canopy had collapsed. In Jabalpur also, you can see the damage has been done to that vehicle. The question, of course, arises, who actually is responsible for this? Is anyone taking responsibility over this? And we have more reactions coming in on that, viewers. There are reports that have been filed by our reporters on ground. Piyush, my colleague, has filed this report from Delhi. Take a look at this report. All right, I believe Piyush Ori is joining us live on the broadcast from Delhi. Now, Piyush, tell us more about the investigation. What have you really gathered on that? What is the latest you're picking up? You've also spoken to one of the people who were there to witness this tragedy.
So, three important developments, Rakshita. First, there are parallel inquiries that are going on by the Delhi Police as well as the Director General of Civil Aviation. While the Director General of Civil Aviation have formed a structural audit of all the airports that are present over here in the country, which amounts to 157, a special structural audit is also being done of the Delhi International Airport where this unfortunate tragedy had taken place. On the other side, the Delhi Police also has filed a FIR in this case under sections of 304A and 337. And in the FIR that has been accessed by the Republic, now there have been some very stunning revelations that have come to fore of how the roof was being relied on very unstable foundations. So yes, this is something of which the Delhi police is going to probe on, and what we've been told by the sources is that the FSL investigation, in the FSL probe in this matter has already been done, and the report is going to come in 1 or 2 days, in which it is going to become even more clear of what actually led to this unfortunate incident where a rooftop collapsed in the Delhi Terminal 1 departure, leading to one death. Now, we have also spoken to several witnesses and more importantly the victims, which have narrated their ordeals, and they also have maintained that in a way this rooftop collapse was all of a sudden. There was definitely that kind of inkling which they had felt that there was something wrong, but then this accident happened all of a sudden. But all of these witnesses, all of these victims have told to Republic that they want that punitive action should be taken against the agencies which were in charge of maintaining this structure, and it should be made sure that such kind of incidents do not happen in the future. Back to in the studio.
In fact, we're also being joined by my colleague Gopi. Gopi, tell us more about this incident coming in from Rajkot. Thankfully, there have been no casualties, but a canopy had collapsed, and this is the area where the passengers actually picked up and dropped off in cabs, and this could have been another tragedy. Now, who's taking responsibility for this? Because we see on social media this is being politicized. There is a political war of words. But what is really the what's really being derived out of the report or the inquiry? Has there been any inquiry also set up on that?
Well, as you have correctly mentioned, Rakshita, that this is the exact point from where the passengers are picked up and dropped. And to put things in perspective, we must understand that it's just been 11 months since the new Greenfield airport, which is based in Hisar in Rajkot, which is 25 kilometers away from the main city of Rajkot, was inaugurated in July 2023. So it has not even been a year that this particular airport has been constructed. So the authorities definitely, we tried to speak to one of the senior officials and the structural engineer. He said that probably the material which was passed by the authority was not the same as what was used at the airport. So this might be one of the reasons, as you rightfully mentioned, that we did not have any of the injuries or deaths from that particular incident. But we must also understand that a few months back, not a few months back, rather a month back, Rajkot has also seen a very serious fire tragedy where senior officials from the Rajkot municipal corporations were arrested, and there was a special investigation team which was actually working on that particular incident and investigating it. So most probably by evening today, we will get to know whether there will be any form of investigation done for this or not. We will be getting the latest updates as and when we get from Rajkot. Back to you.
Well, of course, we also have reactions coming in. In fact, an eyewitness has also spoken out what happened at the Rajkot airport. There's eyewitness coming in these multiple incidents. Take a listen in, viewers.
हाँ, मैं यहाँ अपनी सिस्टर को ड्रॉप करने आया था, और ये इंटरनेशनल एयरपोर्ट के हिसाब से और बहुत नया बना हुआ है ये। ऐसी चीज़ें इतनी जल्दी होनी नहीं चाहिए थी। दूसरा, फैसिलिटीज़ भी अगर जो छोड़ने आ रहा है उसके लिए कोई फैसिलिटी नहीं है यहाँ पे। कैनोपी में आज यहाँ पे डैमेज हुआ है बारिश की वजह से, आपने भी देखा, कैसा लगा? नहीं, मैंने देखा तो नहीं है, पर ये ऐसे सब टूटा हुआ दिख रहा है, तो स्पेशली डिपार्चर के बिल्कुल पास में ही है, तो पैसेंजर्स को भी असुविधा हो रही है इससे। तो कल दिल्ली का सुना था, वहाँ तो इतना लकी रहे यहाँ पे कोई मेजर डैमेज नहीं हुआ, किसी लाइफ का नुकसान नहीं हुआ।
And viewers, Republic also spoke to the son of the victim in the IGI airport roof collapse case. Take a listen to what he had to say.
बहुत दुखमय है कि आज आपके फादर की सुबह डेथ हुई, सुबह 5 बजे। आयरन बीम जो टर्मिनल 1 के एयरपोर्ट पर उनकी गाड़ी पे गिरी और वो धंस गई। अभी इस समय आपके दिमाग में सर क्या चल रहा है? क्या आपने एयरपोर्ट अथॉरिटीज़ से बात करी है कि मुआवजे के लिए?
सर कुछ बात नहीं करी मैंने इस चीज़ के बारे में। मैं एयरपोर्ट पे गया, सुबह 8:30 बजे फ़ोन करा, 9 बजे वहाँ पहुँचा। 9 बजे पहुँचने के बाद 4 बजे तक उनने थाने में बैठा रखा। उसके बाद ले गए सफदरगंज हॉस्पिटल। वहाँ जाके भी 3 घंटे बैठे रहे हम। बोला कि सुबह आ जाना, लाश ले जाना पोस्टमार्टम के बाद।
आपने एयरपोर्ट पे जो पुलिस अथॉरिटी, जो पुलिस स्टेशन है, वहाँ जाके बात नहीं करी इस बारे में कि हमारे को एयरपोर्ट अथॉरिटी से इसका मुआवजा दिलवाइए? किस तरह की आपने जो पूरे दिन में आपने कोशिश करी, उसके ऐसा कुछ आपने पुलिस के पास गए? आप इस
पुलिस के पास गए, पुलिस यहाँ से वहाँ घूम ही रही थी, बस कोई सुनवाई नहीं है।
अच्छा, तो अभी आपका आने वाले दिनों में आपको कि ताकि मुआवजा मिले, जो आपके फादर की डेथ हुई है, आपका क्या हिसाब है, थोड़ा बताइए।
सर मुआवजा तो मिलना ही चाहिए।
अच्छा,
अब इंसान की जान गई है तो उसकी कीमत तो क्या है, कुछ है तो नहीं।
जी।
सर उस समय हम कैब लेकर गए थे वहाँ पे एयरपोर्ट पे, हम किसी का वेट कर रहे थे। वहाँ पे बहुत भारी बारिश हो रही थी तो हम लोग वहाँ पे छत के नीचे खड़े हुए थे। सर वो 5 बजे के आसपास छत गिरा, हम लोग वहाँ से भागे तो छत के ऊपर से कुछ गिरा, मेरे सर पे लग गया, हमारा सर फट गया। सर
आपने बोला कि आप भागे, मतलब कि खुशकिस्मती की बात है कि आप गाड़ी के अंदर नहीं थे। अगर आप गाड़ी के अंदर होते तो शायद हालात कुछ और होते।
जी सर बिल्कुल, हम गाड़ी में होते तो आज यहाँ पे नहीं होते, क्योंकि हमारी गाड़ी के ऊपर ही जो छत का पिलर है वो गाड़ी के बीचों बीच गिर गया था। हम गाड़ी से बाहर ही थे, तब बच गए आज।
एक चीज़ मेरे को बताइए संतोष, जब आप वहाँ पे गए तो बहुत भारी बारिश हो रही थी, वो जो छज्जा था, वो जो छत थी, उस पर जो पानी था बहुत बह रहा था। आपको कहीं भी ये शक हुआ कि कुछ खराबी है और कहीं पे लापरवाही बढ़ती जा रही है जिस पे ध्यान नहीं दिया जा रहा था?
जी सर, मैं वहाँ पे गया तो ऐसा नहीं लग रहा था कि वो गिरेगा। वहाँ से छत के ऊपर से वो पानी टपक रहा था। टपक क्या रहा था, काफ़ी बारिश हो रही थी तो पानी बहुत ज़्यादा मात्रा में उस छत के ऊपर से गिर रहा था। तो हम लोग वहाँ पे खड़े होकर वीडियो बना रहे थे, क्योंकि हमें पता नहीं था कि ऐसा हादसा होने वाला है यहाँ पे। तो सर फिर कुछ देर के बाद हम लोग खड़ा होकर, 2 ड्राइवर थे, हम नेवी के ड्यूटी में थे, तो हम 2 ड्राइवर आपस में बात कर रहे थे। तब तक एकाएक वहाँ से आवाज़ आई धड़ाम से एकदम गिरने की। वहाँ से भागे तो फिर वहाँ से भागे तो छत के ऊपर से कुछ गिरा, सर फट गया।
मेरा आखिरी सवाल आपसे ये होगा संतोष कि आपको लगता है कि लापरवाही हुई है और इसमें जवाबदेही होनी चाहिए?
जी सर बिल्कुल, लापरवाही हुई है, इसमें जवाबदेही होनी चाहिए।
सज़ा मिलनी चाहिए जिसकी भी मतलब ये जिम्मेदारी थी देखरेख करने की?
जी सर बिल्कुल सज़ा मिलनी चाहिए, क्योंकि आज हम मरते मरते बच गए, फिर हम 1-2 महीने के बाद ठीक हो जाएंगे, फिर ड्यूटी जाएंगे वहाँ पे एयरपोर्ट, हम ड्राइवर हैं, हमारा आना जाना वहाँ पे लगा रहेगा। आज बच गए, कल कुछ भी हो सकता है।
Custody with the SIT in the Karnataka sleazegate scandal, and today he was taken into custody following a warrant from the 42nd ACMM court in connection with the 4th FIR against him. Prajwal is scheduled for another appearance before the 42nd ACMM court today, with the SIT unlikely to seek further custody. Odisha Chief Minister Mohan Charan Majhi, along with his deputies Kanakvardhan Singh Dev and Pravati Parita, visited Sadaiv Atal in Delhi to pay tribute to former Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee as a part of his visit to Delhi. Five police officers, including a deputy superintendent, were injured in an attack by a mob during an anti-encroachment drive in Jammu and Kashmir's Kathua district. The incident occurred in the Nagri area of Hiranagar during the demolition of an illegally built place of worship. Now, local resistance turned violent, leading to the assault on the police. Reinforcements were dispatched to restore order. CBI searched 7 locations in Gujarat in the NEET UG paper leak case. Operation targeted suspects in Anand, Kheda, Ahmedabad and Godhra. 6 FIRs have been registered to far across multiple states. Three people were killed with 1 injured in an explosion in a firecracker factory near Sattur in the Virudhunagar district. While the injured are being treated at a government hospital, investigations are underway to find the cause of the explosion. Right, viewers, we have breaking news coming in from Jammu and Kashmir right now. Sources tell Republic TV that Pakistan has opened fire at the line of control in the Krishna Ghati sector of Pune district. An incident is reported last night from around 10:50 p.m. Indian Army also fired some rounds to rule out the possibility. These were speculative rounds to rule out the possibility of infiltration. And Indian Army troops are now maintaining the highest level of alertness on the line of control after Pakistan's mischief. So that's the latest update we have right now. Viewers, remember there have been increased deployment of the forces and anti-terror operations have been underway in the wake of back-to-back terror attacks in Jammu and Kashmir. And now, sources tell us that last night there was Pakistan open firing at the line of control in Pune district. And my colleague Gursimran Singh joins us live on the broadcast from more. Gursimran, tell us more about this piece of information that is coming in. We understand that Pakistan opened fire at the LOC on the 28th of June.
Yes, on the 28th of June, that is what we are getting to know, that at around 10:50 in the night, Pakistan opened round. More than 24 rounds were fired from the Pakistani side. That is what we are getting to know from our sources within the Jammu and Kashmir police and also within the Indian Army. That Pakistani fire was given a reply by the Indian side, but it was limited to the speculative fire only, as Indian Army ensured that there is no infiltration of the terrorists, because what it was presumed that the Pakistan has opened fire to facilitate the infiltration of the terrorists into the Indian territory. Reason being that we have seen time and again Pakistan trying to push their terrorists, and also many of their attempts have been successful. 5 terrorists have been neutralized in last 50. In view, the Indian Army troops were on the alert. They also retaliated with a speculative fire to ensure that there is no infiltration into the India's own territory. It was somewhere a 30 minutes entire incident that was reported, and since then there has been a calm on the line of control in the Krishna Ghati sector of the Poonch, and the Indian Army is maintaining the highest level of alertness. We spoke to some of the senior officials in the Jammu and Kashmir police as well. They have also confirmed to us the incident that has taken place, and they have said that the troops on ground as well as on the LOC and on hinterland, they are maintaining the highest level of alertness, keeping in view the recent mischiefs of the Pakistan, wherein they are trying to push as many terrorists as they can into the Indian territory. But this comes a serious concern for the Indian side, because Pakistan, which on the book says that they are abiding by the ceasefire agreement that was reached upon by the militaries of both the sides in February 2000.
All right, thanks so much, Gursimran Singh, joining us with those latest inputs coming in on Pakistan reportedly opening fire at the line of control last night. And now, viewers, remember there have been back-to-back terror attacks in the valley, and after which the Amarnath Yatra security has been beefed up, and it kickstarts today. There are 2 routes that have been adopted for this for the Amarnath Yatra, and it is the Pahalgam route, and the other is the Noonwar Pahalgam route, and the other is the Baltal track. And of course, there is a heavy deployment of security forces for the same. Here's a ground report to know more.
Yes, the first batch of Amarnath Yatra today has been flagged off by DC Anantnag. He's being accompanied by SSP Anantnag, and one can see the Yatris in full zeal and enthusiasm, because they will be taking the Yatra, which is more than 40 kilometers, and this Yatra will be covered in around 4 days. So one can see in all age groups, the devotees have assembled, because they will be taking the route of, from here, the Nunwan base camp. They will be taking the route of Chandanwadi, Shishnag, and further to up to this Amarnath cake, because this is one of the traditional routes of the Amarnath Yatra, because this Yatra will be, this batch will complete its Yatra in the 4 days. So one can see the devotees have been lined up for their turn, and some of them will also board the vehicle, some will board take the pony ride to reach the cave. So these are the arrangements that comes from the J&K administration, where the security part is taken care by the Jammu and Kashmir police.
Right, now we shift our focus to the space, viewers. Remember, it's Sunita Williams, the Indian origin astronaut, and Butch Wilmore, who are actually right now reportedly stuck in space. Well, what has happened is that there is a Starlink spacecraft that had a liftoff on the 5th of June, but now it seems that return is delayed. Now, what is the cause behind this? Well, let's get you this report.
The vehicle at station is in good shape. I want to make it very clear that Butch and Sunny are not stranded in space. Our plan is to continue to return them on Starliner and return them home at the right time. We'll have a little bit more work to do to get there for the final return, but they're safe on space station. Their spacecraft is working well, and they're enjoying their time on the space station.
Right, we was now RSS researcher and political analyst Ratan Sharda's article in The Organizer has created quite a stir. Well, this is an article that was titled Course Correction. And for the first time after that article, he has now opened up, he's broken his silence, and he has answered some of the sharpest questions asked by Editor-in-Chief Arnab Goswami, all the answers that the entire nation wants to know. Take a listen to this excerpt from the interview.
You think that you are telling me all this public conversation was wrong? You think there was no attempt at taking on or publicly criticizing the Prime Minister?
Let me complete. He talked about...
And was that not unfair to the Prime Minister?
No, tell me...
Was that not unfair to the Prime Minister?
Tell me, was the opposition very responsible in what he said? So if you pick up what Mohanji said, fits equally well to opposition parties. It fits.
But he did not specify opposition?
He didn't specify anybody. He will not specify anybody. He said opposition also dragged us in. He clearly said that we also were dragged into election with fake news. He said that, right?
No, but he did not say the Congress did the fake news.
No,
he did not make a single. He did not make a single reference. He did not make a single reference to the Congress, which has accused the RSS of being a fascist.
It only proves my point.
Fascist Nazi type organization.
It only proves my point that he did not name Congress. Why do you want him to name BJP?
Why play with words?
You are naming BJP.
Why play with words?
Mohan Bhagwat.
Why play
you
with
are playing.
This
was play with words.
Was this an attempt at a motherly? Was this an attempt at a motherly reprimand of the BJP by the RSS?
See, for that they have enough time to talk to each other in private. No, he want to speak.
Wouldn't this look like an ego war between the RSS and the BJP?
Why?
relevance.
Yeah, 10 years they are together. For 10 years they worked together. In Ram Mandir, he was sitting next to Modi ji for the inaugural, right? And he complimented Modi ji continuously all these years that for the work he has done. Why would you come in public to tell him
That's exactly my point, that 10 years you worked together. Why immediately after the results come out, you start chiding the BJP openly?
Again you are saying this.
You're chiding the BJP openly?
Again saying.
All the elections the BJP won, the RSS never said well done. One election the BJP does a little less than expected. The RSS stands up and see, don't be arrogant. Don't choose the wrong people, don't have the wrong alliances, don't speak the wrong language. It's like a motherly reprimand. Motherly reprimand.
You yourself said you didn't name Congress. So why are you assuming you named BJP? It's for you to judge, no?
No, it was a conjunction. It was Mohan Bhagwat, Indresh Kumar and the gentleman sitting in front of me, Ratan Sharda. Ratan Sharda said something, and after that, Indresh Kumar, oh, by the way, Indresh Kumar.
He withdrew statement.
Indresh Kumar comes and says...
He statement in the...
No, but what did he say? Withdrawal,
he did not withdraw his statement.
Withdrawal is not the issue. Withdrawal is not the issue. No, it's not the issue. He said, Indresh Kumar said...
I am not responsible for what
Indresh Kumar... No, you are not responsible. But उन्होंने क्या कहा? जिस पार्टी ने भगवान राम की भक्ति की, लेकिन अहंकारी हो गए, फिर अहंकार, लेकिन अहंकारी हो गए, उसे 241 पे रोक दिया. किसने रोका? या तो भगवान ने रोका या आरएसएस ने रोका. हालांकि वो सबसे बड़ी पार्टी बनी और जिन लोगों का राम में कोई विश्वास नहीं था, उनके एक साथ मिलकर भी उनको 233-234 पर रोक दिया. Now the question is not that he later went on to backtrack this comment. Because let me explain to you what it says. He says, again the reference is to ahankar. Ahankar, viewers, means arrogance, means pride, means, sort of self-aggrandizement. Now, my question to Ratan Sharda ji is, and he's avoiding this question, is, I don't think all of this is accidental. Mr. Arrogance, ego, self-reflection. You were arrogant, you were egoistic, you must self-reflect, you must introspect. That's why you were stopped. A true sevak is never arrogant. A true saver never uses bad language. You chose your alliances wrongly.
You repeating the same argument twice over will not change the comments. You want me to read my arguments again?
Why was this?
It's waste of time.
No, but why was this going on and on
after that? When Indresh ji withdraws his statement or he makes a new statement, he should pick up that statement, no?
Why? The second statement must have been made under pressure.
What is under pressure?
There must have been a call from the BJP saying, please don't embarrass us in public.
He himself is a senior leader for years together.
Yeah, but the fact is...
So why would he withdraw the statement? Because somebody said...
Maybe all of you felt that you went overboard in your initial reactions, castigating the BJP.
No, not at all. I still believe I as a well-wisher, what I said about BJP is right. It is for you to draw the conclusion. I know that I have got phones from BJP workers and leaders who said what you said is right. We should relook.
With over 1,12,718 startups igniting innovation, driving digital growth, over 800 million internet users are bridging distances and strengthening bonds across the globe, making India the third largest digitalized country in the world, accounting for around 46% of the world's real-time digital transactions. To celebrate the makers and shakers behind Digital India and India's phenomenal Digital Yatra, Republic Business is delighted to bring its inaugural Republic Business Emerging Tech Awards.
Get ready to witness the best technology extravaganza of the year. The first edition of the Republic Business Emerging Technology Awards has received an overwhelming number of nominations. Dominating the categories are AI and robotics, healthcare, edutech, fintech, banking and finance, and martech. Groundbreaking innovations and revolutionary ideas from the largest digitalized economy in the world. Join us as we celebrate India's incredible digital growth story. Republic Business Emerging Technology Awards, Friday, 5th July 2024.
must be often left wondering through the week that many issues that register in your mind as important are lost as a blip in the daily grind. I'm going to help you. Pick up those issues, untangle them, dissect the politics behind them, and ultimately give you a broad sweep, a deep dive.
Induction of RSS abusers, you spoke about this, induction of congressmen who had actively promoted the bogey of saffron terror and persecuted Hindus, who called 2611 RSS ki sajish and branded the RSS as a terrorist organization, became BJP leaders without as much of a regret note that they had made a mistake. Who are you talking about? Name the person, no, kya hai?
I put the name.
No, tell me who is the person.
This person later, after the article of 4 days, he released a regret letter from BJP letterhead from BJP headquarters, Kripa Shankar Singh. He said, I made a mistake, and I was influenced by Digvijay Singh, and this and that. There is a long letter he has sent. So he released the letter. So when you express your opinion, somebody listens.
But you thought that was a mistake. It was a terrible mistake, wasn't it? That why do you think the BJP did it? I was also wondering, why did the BJP go all out to get people who he thought was winnable or was adding numbers in individual constituencies?
Now, whether he's winnable or not, that would be BJP
or adding
round report. I wouldn't know.
He thought it would hurt others.
Naturally, these are the kind of people who lost elections.
Get ready to witness the best technology extravaganza of the year. The first edition of the Republic Business Emerging Technology Awards has received an overwhelming number of nominations. Dominating the categories are AI and robotics, healthcare, edutech, fintech, banking and finance, and martech. Groundbreaking innovations and revolutionary ideas from the largest digitalized economy in the world. Join us as we celebrate India's incredible digital growth story. Republic Business Emerging Technology Awards, Friday, 5th July 2024.
Thank you for joining us on Republic TV. It's 5:30 p.m. And on Versus, ladies and gentlemen, the show's called Versus each evening at 5:30 p.m. We look at the recent paper leak controversy, and a fallout of the paper leak controversy has been the opposition picking up this issue of NEET. M.K. Stalin, the Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, now feels that it's time to abolish NEET. In fact, it's not a new demand. It's been a long-standing demand of his party that there is no need for the NEET examination. M.K. Stalin has used this paper leak issue to escalate the debate. He wants a full-fledged debate in Parliament. The Indie bloc is asking for it, but they're not allowing a debate in the first place. Now, at the end of it, the ones who lose out eventually are the students, ladies and gentlemen. In India today, if 1 million students apply for the NEET examination, just around 50 to 60,000 of them are chosen. And the cost of medical education in private institutions can range anywhere between 50 lakhs to 5 crore rupees. And that's the reality. So is scrapping NEET the solution that the opposition feels is the way out? Or is a debate the permanent and only solution for the students of India and to improve India's medical infrastructure and the medical setup in India? There needs to be a larger debate. Here's where we stand today amid the paper leak. There is a demand by M.K. Stalin has written to about 8 chief ministers asking for their support in scrapping NEET. Here's the story and then the face-off.
Nationwide uproar on the streets. In Delhi, ruckus and disruption in Parliament.
मैं पीड़ित हूं, मैं अचंभित हूं। भारतीय संसदीय परंपरा इतनी गिर जाएगी कि प्रतिपक्ष के नेता वेल में आएंगे, डिप्टी लीडर वेल में आएंगे,
In Tamil Nadu, the assembly has passed a resolution against the NEET exam. Not just that, Tamil Nadu Chief Minister M.K. Stalin has written a letter to Prime Minister Modi and 8 chief ministers to skip the medical entrance exam NEET. The opposition is riding on the anger of the students.
ये वो एजुकेशन मिनिस्टर हैं जो अपनी जिम्मेदारी से भाग रहे हैं। ये वो एजुकेशन मिनिस्टर हैं जो युवाओं की आवाज़ नहीं सुन पा रहे हैं और युवाओं की जो तकलीफ़ है उसको सुनने को तैयार नहीं है। ये वो एजुकेशन मिनिस्टर हैं जिनको जब नीट की पूरी कार्रवाई सामने आई थी, नीट के बच्चों ने आकर कहा था किस तरीके से 67 टॉपर्स बन जाते हैं, किस तरीके से ग्रेस मार्क्स अलॉट कर दिए जाते हैं। वो अपनी लड़ाई सुप्रीम कोर्ट में लड़ते हैं क्योंकि एजुकेशन मिनिस्टर के पास समय नहीं है अपनी राजनीति से। क्या ये बेहद शर्मनाक नहीं है कि आज देश के युवा संसद की तरफ देख रहे हैं कि हमारे सांसद इस बात को उठाएंगे कि हमारी क्या तकलीफें हैं। ये सिर्फ युवाओं की बात नहीं है, देश के फ्यूचर की बात है और वो अपनी जिम्मेदारी से भाग रहे हैं।
The government says that it is ready for a discussion.
उन्होंने कहा जब राष्ट्रपति जी ने अपने अभिभाषण में खुद ही जिस प्रसंग पे कांग्रेस उठा रही है उस पे खुद राष्ट्रपति जी ने अपने ओर से उल्लेख किया, हाँ देयर आर सम चैलेंजेस, वी हैव टू लुक इनटू दैट, वी हैव टू इरेडिकेट ऑल दिस प्रॉब्लम्स। ये आदरणीय राष्ट्रपति जी के अभिभाषण में अभी की इस नीट परीक्षा के बारे में उल्लेख किया।
CBI has intensified its probe in the case, with multiple accused getting arrested from Hazirabad, Latur and Patna. Banning the NEET exam will only benefit the private organizations. Why use students for political gains?
Joining on versus this evening, Siddharth Yadav of the BJP. Siddharth Yadav of the BJP versus Kapil Madan, who leans towards the Congress party. So let's begin the face-off. Siddharth Yadav, will you want to begin by acknowledging that there is primarily a problem with the way NEET is structured today? And the reason I'm asking you that question, let's look at the reality, okay? And these are some of the facts as we know it this evening. The entire country is watching what is unfolding in front of us. Point number one, papers are routinely leaked. It's not something new, it's been happening for some time. Point number two, incorrect results being released. Several aspirants have also committed suicide in the past. It's a fact. Point number three, look at the recent example. 67 students get perfect scores against the average of 2 or 3 per year. That's an anomaly. Point number four, grace marks awarded to almost about 1,500 students. Reasons appear to be non-transparent, or that's the allegation. Now, the net result of all of this is there is a loss of trust in the NTA. Of course, an investigation is on, arrests are being made. But primarily, would you want to start by saying there is a problem with NEET? Siddharth Yadav.
What I wish to address is that there is a problem with how the examinations in this country were conducted, and definitely there is a requirement for any government, any institution to always keep a check that no examination in this country gets leaked or is compromised. We have seen a long history before even the NTA was introduced, and when all departments and all ministries and everybody used to conduct their own examination for different students, we have seen a series of exams being leaked for over a long period of time. And no action was even taken on that. And that is when a demand for a central agency was even brought about, that there should be one agency, a government agency, which conducts the examination for all such students who are from different streams, which can be streamlined, and we can keep a check and balance in the first place. Now, there is no denial that what has happened in NEET, the government has acknowledged that whatever has happened, strictest of action have to be taken. And we are also seeing that you have been reporting about the same. So many arrests have been happening throughout the country, from north to south, from east to west. The CBI has been handling it. The inquiry is in place. The action has been taken on the NTA itself. And we are committed that whatever leak happened or whatever the compromise was, that has to be fixed. Not just for this, the accountability has to be set up, but we also have to have a mechanism for the future course to happen. But my question is for the opposition as well. When such things happened in Rajasthan, one state where maximum paper leaks happened under the Congress rule, the REIT happened, about the stories of which all of us have heard. So many students, committed suicide, and so many students were affected. No uproar was there. Now the question to the opposition is, we are welcoming your positive criticism.
Siddharth Yadav,
go ahead, come out and talk on a consensus for the students. But if you just want a bawal, if you say that we'll have no discussion in the session, we'll have nothing, that I think is not taken. Yes, please.
Siddharth, 1 minute. Siddharth, 1 second. 1 second. See, I'm happy to note that you acknowledge that at least there is a problem. I'm happy to hear that you acknowledge there's a problem. But my problem is you start talking about Rajasthan and talk about Rajasthan where leaks have happened the most. Okay, I'm saying yes, there was a problem in Rajasthan, and yes, you must fix the problem in Rajasthan because your government is in Rajasthan, right? Right now, you should fix the problem, and I'm sure you will address that problem. That's not the issue at hand. That's not the issue at hand. It's like, how yesterday, it was last morning, right, when the T1 roof collapsed. Instead of saying, yes, the roof collapsed, there is a problem, we are investigating. But we would also like to clarify that it happened, that was inaugurated during the UPA rule, and that was not the exact portion of the terminal that was inaugurated by the Prime Minister. You directly went and said, no, it was UPA time. Please, let's come to the subject because it involves over 1 million students. And my question now is to Kapil Madan. Kapil Madan, you're asking for a debate on NEET. The government is not saying, no, we will not have a debate on NEET. I'll tell you what the government has said. The government has said, we will allow a fair and free discussion. And yes, there must be a free and fair discussion. But they're only saying it has to be held within a certain decorum in Parliament. They're not saying no to the debate. So what's the problem? Why don't the opposition leaders behave themselves in Parliament if they are serious on the NEET issue?
Now, Madhav, I heard very patiently to my good friend Siddharth here, and in his entire narrative, what I could see was there was more of concealment rather than he wanted to truthfully acknowledge something. What Siddharth has done mischievously, I must say so, is that he has concealed the fact that there is a connection of an NDA ally, a person namely Bedi Naam. There is a video wherein he is acknowledging how how he can do a paper leak. And the fact remains, he is not told your viewers, it is not a suo motu investigation done by CBI. It is only after a petitioner, a student who has went to the Honorable Supreme Court, and pursuant to Supreme Court's order, there is a CBI investigation. Let me also, tell you in contrast, it takes them few hours to register suo motu cases against leaders of the opposition. And I would say that with responsibility, they, without evidence, arrest people. Recently, what Bombay High Court has said in Hemant Soren's case. Now, what stopped them in so far as this NEET is concerned to register a suo motu case without the intervention of the Supreme Court? And what stopped them from arresting this gentleman called Bedi Ram, who happens to be an NDA ally? He will not tell your, viewers this. And that's precisely the reason you have opposition where the opposition is trying to highlight how the government is trying to brush this issue under the carpet. They are not, coming up with facts. They are not doing enough for the students. Now, I'll let me just, give you another perspective, for our viewers to think about it. Now, it's all right. You have taken, post facto, these arrests, etc. You've been arrested. Now, what was your measures in place to ensure that these kind of leakages, doesn't take place? What was the measures? And if there were measures, who has, failed in ensuring that, these measures were in place? Now, there is no clarity on it. You can't simply, play with the future of, entire generation who have, dreamt of, clearing the entrance of this medical examination, and they from the age of 14, 15, they start preparing for these kind of exams, and they wait. And in fact, I mean, I was, terribly pained to note, I was reading one of the interview given by one of the students who postponed his surgery because he wanted to give NEET exam. I mean, do you have any kind of an answer to come here and say, no, we will not have debate like this, we will not have debate now, we will have debate later? I mean, come on. It's the issue that affects the the youth of this country. You can't simply brush away these kind of issue. If you are really clean, the first agenda that you should have is because you are exposed. See, the government is exposed.
Okay, Kapil.
The first thing that they should be doing is to have an open debate on this.
Kapil. Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you, Kapil, that there is a need for an open debate, and without an open debate in Parliament, there can be no permanent solution. Now, let me also tell you, Kapil, that the government, and you spoke about instances where students are, of course, they're extremely anxious, and I understand, because even I have given competitive exams at some stage of my life, right? So I completely understand with you. But let me also tell you, Kapil, the government has said today that the new dates will be announced by Monday or Tuesday, which means it's going to happen. It is going to happen, right? It's not like it's put off completely, but there are questions, and I too have questions. Siddharth Yadav, let's look at the facts, right? Instead of politicizing, because it's easy for you to say the opposition is hijacking it, is using students, and it's easy for Kapil Madan to say that you're responsible, you failed, etc. Though partly, both of you may have valid points at some stage. But look at what Stalin has said in his letter. Stalin has said, point number 1, issues such as question paper leaks, which has happened. He says clustering of toppers at specific centers and the award of marks, which is happening, which are mathematically impossible under the guise of grace marks, which has happened. Highlight the pitfalls of the current union government's centralization. Is he factually incorrect completely? He's got a point somewhere, right? You have to listen to him. He's written to the Prime Minister. You can't say that opposition chief ministers don't matter. Because he also has a point that the poorest of the poor will always be the ones who lose out in an examination like this. Siddharth.
No, first of all, I'll just quickly respond to my friend from Congress. He was saying that I've been trying to do something mischievously and I'm trying to conceal something. There is nothing mischievously that I've been trying to do. Had I wanted to do politics, I would have definitely addressed who was arrested, who booked room for whom, who's RJD ministers, leaders, PA. I have not gone into that. The arrests are happening because this is a students, this is a country's youth issues, which is beyond partisan politics. And I expect the same from you. I did not name any political leader. I did not name any political party. Be the person who is responsible for this from any political party, either from the NDA, from the BJP, from the RJD, from the Congress, anywhere. It does not matter. The investigation has to be same for everybody and the action has to be taken. This is point number 1. Point number 2, you said at the best you should do a discussion. Who stopped you to do a discussion? What the youth of this country and your viewers should know is, when the discussion was proposed in the Parliament, the Speaker only said that the Business Advisory Committee had agreed to respond to the President's address. When the President's address remarks have to be given, the opposition has given ample time. Rahul Gandhi could have taken all the time he wanted and only spoken about NEET because the President herself spoke about NEET. So you could have taken 1 hour and spoke about that. But the people who do not want discussions would never resort to such things. They only want bawal, they do not want sawal. Now, point number 3, what you're asking about MK Stalin. Definitely opposition CMs matter. But I wish to remind all your viewers, this is not the first time that MK Stalin has raised the issue of not participating in NEET. This is not something which has happened after the NEET paper leak incident and the reports have come out. The Tamil Nadu government led by MK Stalin has been demanding this for different reasons altogether. Definitely the language of the letter has changed today and now he will cite reasons of this particular case that has happened, but what regional issues that he wished to address, what what are the issues and who he wishes to promote is best known. Why was he raising the same issue 3 years back, 2 years back? There was no paper leak of NEET then. So when this is motivated by your different issues, but you try to play upon the student's future or some incident that has happened, which is most unfortunate.
No, one second. You're arguing. One second. No. Now 1 minute. He has not, 1 minute. He's been raising it over the years because he feels that this is an issue that has been ongoing, and this is an issue that's been ongoing, right? It's not just now that there are questions raised over NEET. What are you saying, Siddharth? It's not the first time. And he's been raising this issue again and again. And his point is that it should be, he says it should be based on school education system's role in determining the criteria that should become the focus for professional course selection. He has said that over the years. And
no,
you can't say that. You can't say that, you know, that the central government is not responsible for this or not answerable for this because it comes. I mean, you've been in power for 10 years, right? So you are answerable for the system, right? You are.
No, it's what you say. This is absolutely different. Nobody is saying we are not answerable. Nobody is saying this will not be responded to. But what I am trying to explain you is when he says that this should happen on the 12th marks, the results of the 12th standard for all the students, this is not an out of the world solution that he is bringing. This is how it used to happen before NEET happened. Now, his contentions are absolutely different. The letter he wrote 2 years back, there was no mention of a NEET paper leak because there was no paper leak. But why was he demanding the same thing then? Because he says that we have a lot of aspirants for medical seats in Tamil Nadu. We are not getting the proportionate seats. It's a regional issue. We are paying more taxes. The reasons were altogether very different. And that is why what I wish to point out today is even opposition should not find this an opportunity to play around with politics. We should come together. This is one thing when all sides should come together and come up with solutions. You can just, it's very easy to cite problems, but what about solutions? We are hellbent to give a solution to this. We are hellbent, we are determined that no such paper leak will happen in the future, and whatever accountability has to be set for the current case will be done so.
Yeah, and why is the opposition? Let me ask you, Kapil. It's fine to demand, to make these demands, right? But why is the opposition not allowing a debate? If you are serious about students, right? Why are you not allowing a debate?
Now
you came up with this theory of conspiracy by saying that Rahul Gandhi's mic. 1 minute. Yeah, it was the Congress party and the Indie bloc which came up with this conspiracy that Rahul Gandhi's mic was muted when it was not, right? You create a conspiracy and then you create that conspiracy to ensure that there is chaos in parliament while you yourself have not allowed a debate. There was a time when opposition and governments would come to a decent agreement and allow debates.
Let me respond. I'll make very quick response. My response number one is to Siddharth, and I would like to thank Siddharth here because he himself has exposed his own BJP government, and he has done it very, very transparently. Wherein he says in the president address, president has spoken about NEET. Now, if the debate was happening on the president address, and if the president has herself spoken about NEET, then where is the issue? If someone is, talking and raising the issue of NEET, which president herself has taken, this entire bogey that, you cannot do it while, you can only debate on the president address. It's completely, bogus. He has exposed his own government. That's point number one. Point number two.
Nobody said that the issue was you were demanding an adjournment of the business. That was the issue. Nobody said you can't speak about it.
I get your anxiety. Siddharth, but please hold on. Please hold on. I never interrupted you. Please hold on. My point number two, Niranjan, is the fact is on camera it was seen that mics were off. The honorable speaker has not said that the mics didn't got off. What he said was he does not control mic. There is someone else. He was implying that there is someone else who's is control and in charge of mic. Can you on record say here on channel to your viewers that the mic were not switched off? Can you say this, yes or no? Because if you cannot say this, then
Arey, but the speaker doesn't control the mic, yaar. Come on, Kapil, yaar.
Niranjan,
Kapil,
Niranjan,
1 second. Kapil, come on. Kapil, come on. Kapil, come on. The speaker doesn't have a console.
The speaker doesn't do that, but there are technicians who do this.
No. The speaker does not.
Niranjan,
can you imagine the chaos with the mics of all parliamentarians?
Yes or no? Was the mic muted? Yes or no?
One second.
Yes or no?
You're diverting from the issue of NEET. We want a debate on NEET, a discussion on NEET, right? Kapil, wait. I have a counter to Siddharth.
No.
I have a counter to Siddharth. Wait, I'm losing time. I have to ask him a very important question.
What you're saying.
No, listen. Kapil, because he said something, I have to counter him. He said something factual, counter him. Kapil, you will also appreciate my question. You will appreciate my question. No, you will appreciate my question. 1 minute.
No, you please tell me.
Arey, mic was muted, but the speaker doesn't do that, yaar. It's a very trivial issue. Again, you're wasting time on this conspiracy theory here.
It was never the case that the speaker has muted.
The mic was muted. The mic was muted, but the speaker doesn't control the mic.
Mic was muted.
Okay, 1 minute. Arey, I'm going to mute your mic now, yaar. Hold on. I'm going to mute your mic because I can control your mic. Hold on. Kapil, hold on. I don't want to do that. Hold on. Siddharth, can you hear me? Siddharth, 1 second. Hold on. Siddharth, can you hear me? Siddharth, can you hear me? The mic was muted, but the speaker doesn't control the mic. Okay, 1 minute. Siddharth, can you hear me? Mute your mic now, yaar. Hold on. I'm going to mute your mic because I can control your mic. Hold on. I'm trying to see if Siddharth can hear me. I think there's some. Okay, he's not getting my audio. Kapil, but I want to end by making one point. Because Siddharth just said at the beginning, just a few minutes back, he spoke about Stalin and his previous letters. But I'm just going through his letter from 2023. I have that with me where Siddharth has contradicted himself, right? Stalin has said, and I quote, in 2023, okay, listen, there is a little bit of a delay and there's something wrong with your audio line. I'll just fix that. But Stalin had said in 2023, NEET-based selection process favors urban students and those who can afford costly coaching classes and hence is inherently against the poor and underprivileged. And he says the outcome of school education rather than a separate entrance exam, which is an unwanted additional stress on students. And he refers to suicides and he says these tragedies could have definitely been avoided if our bill for exemption from NEET has been given assent to. Right? Even in 2023, he spoke about the coaching centers. Our coaching center linked people being arrested for the NEET paper leak? Yes. Are students committing suicide even this year? Yes. We've had a 12th suicide reported yesterday. Right? And the reason why I'm saying this is consistently there are concerns being raised, and I think in the 11th year of this government being in place, it's about time that we find a permanent solution to NEET, and it's about time that the opposition also allows a debate in Parliament to find that permanent solution for over 1 million students who take this exam each and every year. Thank you for watching. Kapil, Madan and Siddharth, thank you for joining us. Okay, I'm taking a short break right now, and we're getting you details of the Jabalpur and the Rajkot canopy collapse. 3 terminals, 24 hours, many questions.
Where the software engineer meets the cool UI UX designer to create the big dream. The world comes together at Sharda University.
लोन मिलेगा या नहीं, ये आपके क्रेडिट स्कोर पे डिपेंड करता है। तो आज ही अपना क्रेडिट स्कोर चेक करें फ्री में पैसाबाजार.com पर। लोन की जरूरत कभी भी किसी को भी पड़ सकती है।
ठीक से एक्टिंग नहीं।
पैसाबाजार.com।
Get ready to witness the best technology extravaganza of the year. The first edition of the Republic Business Emerging Technology Awards has received an overwhelming number of nominations. Dominating the categories are AI and robotics, healthcare, edutech, fintech, banking and finance, and martech. Groundbreaking innovations and revolutionary ideas from the largest digitalized economy in the world. Join us as we celebrate India's incredible digital growth story. Republic Business Emerging Technology Awards, Friday, 5th July 2024.
With over 1,12,718 startups igniting innovation, driving digital growth. Over 800 million.
You must be often left wondering through the week that many issues that register in your mind as important are lost as a blip in the daily grind. I'm going to help you. Pick up those issues, untangle them, dissect the politics behind them, and ultimately give you a broad sweep, a deep dive.
Did Narendra Modi go wrong? Is there a problem between Mohan Bhagwat and Narendra Modi? Does the Sangh believe the BJP has grown too big for its boots? Was the Sangh angry with JP Nadda's interview in the Indian Express where he said that we do not need the electoral help of the RSS? These are questions on everyone's conversation.
I do not know what Mohanji thought because Mohanji spoke after 4 days of my writing the article. It just shows that Swayamsevak have similar thinking. And he's a supreme leader, he thinks before he speaks and every word of his is measured. As I said, the context was wrongly chosen. And secondly, he also talked about the fake news which affected RSS also. RSS was dragged into the election, which was not done. And since you talked about provocation, there is no provocation. It's just that organizer asked me to, write an article about lessons of 2024. And I sat down to write, and all the things that came to my mind, I put it down. And
you were writing on
organizer is good enough.
You were writing on your own.
Yeah, organizer good enough that they said, I asked them whether they want to publish it. They said there is no harm at all.
From Asia's largest news headquarters, setting the agenda for Bharat. You're watching Republic.
A very good evening, viewers. You're watching Across the Republic with me, Rakta Mishra, and in this show we are going to get you all the latest stories that we are tracking with our ground reportage, extensive Republic reportage. First up are the headlines this hour. Delhi, Jabalpur and now Rajkot. Canopies of airport collapses after few hours of rain. But who is responsible for this apathy? Family who lost their loved ones in the apathy over the monsoon mayhem narrates the ordeal, demands a probe. No relief to Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal. He is remanded to 14 days of judicial custody. Bihar Chief Minister Nitish Kumar holds a key JDU meeting, demands special status for Bihar. Probe in the NEET scam gathers pace. CBI arrests a journalist in Jharkhand, conducts searches in Gujarat. Government says Congress opportunists want chaos. Sensational final report by Pune police keeps mentioning blood sample in the report. Statement of biomedical waste firm in question also not recorded. After Owaisi raises Jai Palestine slogan in the parliament, he now claims that Israel flag was put at his residence and ink was thrown as well. And Indian origin astronaut Sunita Williams is stuck in space. NASA finds measures to solve the issue. Prayers in India for her safety. Now viewers, after a portion of the roof collapsed at the Terminal 1 of Indira Gandhi International Airport in Delhi, now tragedy struck Rajkot Airport as well, where a canopy collapsed due to heavy rainfall. Not just that, a similar incident is being reported from Jabalpur as well. The question here arises, viewers, with some heavy rains, the monsoon has just started. It has not even picked up that kind of pace. Such incidences are being reported from across cities. And who takes responsibility for this? That is the big question. Take a look at this report.
Just a day after roof collapsed at the IGI airport in the national capital. And another similar incident took place in Jabalpur's Dumna airport. Tragedy has now struck at the Rajkot airport, where a canopy broke during maintenance work. Fortunately, nobody sustained any injuries in the incident.
मैं यहाँ अपनी सिस्टर को ड्रॉप करने आया था और ये इंटरनेशनल एयरपोर्ट के हिसाब से और बहुत नया बना हुआ है ये। ऐसी चीज़ें इतनी जल्दी होनी नहीं चाहिए थी। दूसरा फैसिलिटीज़ भी अगर जो छोड़ने आ रहा है उसके लिए कोई फैसिलिटी नहीं है यहाँ पे।
कैनोपी में आज यहाँ पे डैमेज हुआ है बारिश की वजह से, आपने भी देखा, कैसा लगा? नहीं,
मैंने देखा तो नहीं है, पर ये ऐसे सब टूटा हुआ दिख रहा है, तो स्पेशली डिपार्चर के बिल्कुल पास में ही है, तो पैसेंजर्स को भी असुविधा हो रही है इससे।
Repair work is underway, but the back-to-back infrastructural incidents at India's top airports has put a light on the country's preparedness for the ongoing monsoon season.
बहुत तेज आवाज आई और सारा पूरी की पूरी ये जो छत है वो गाड़ियों के ऊपर गई। उस टाइम पे पैसेंजर उतर रहे थे फ्लाइटें पकड़ने के लिए।
उस वक्त कोई सी फ्लाइट आई थी?
फ्लाइट पकड़ने के लिए, जाने के लिए तैयार थी फ्लाइट।
आप इंडिगो के ट्रांसपोर्ट टीम के अंदर हैं, आप बिल्कुल सामने खड़े थे जिस वक्त ये घटना घटी?
बिल्कुल, मैं ऊपर ही था डिपार्चर पे। हाँ जी।
अच्छा, तो उस वक्त आपने क्या क्या देखा?
बहुत तेज आवाज के साथ ये छत गिरी एकदम से और इसमें 3-4 गाड़ियां दब चुकी हैं।
Politics is also ensuing on this. The opposition is blaming the BJP for it.
गलत बात है कि हर किसी विषय में राजनीति लाना, पॉलिटिकली स्टेटमेंट करना। जो कुछ नेताओं ने इसके बारे में कमेंट किए, ट्वीट किए कि ये मोदी जी के समय में इसका इनॉग्रेशन हुआ 2024 में और यही सब जो कंस्ट्रक्शन था वो जो कोलैप्स हो गया, तो मुझे लगता है कि लोग ये देखते हैं कि अब कहाँ राजनीति करे, कहाँ कौन सी घटना होने के बाद राजनीति नहीं करनी चाहिए।
Yesterday, the Union Civil Aviation Minister held a high-level review meeting with key officials. Key decisions were taken in the meeting. Airlines were advised not to hike the airfare and maintain fare stability. The ministry also has ordered the setup of a 24/7 war room that will ensure passengers get back their refund.
T1 was totally evacuated, closed for the time being, and all the flight movement has been shifted to T2 and T3. And our initial thought process was that we will take care of all the passengers who were distressed at the time. So whoever's flights got cancelled, they are being given a full refund and also alternate travel if that is the choice that they provide.
Flights have been suspended at the IGI Terminal 1 following the incident which killed 1 person and injured 8 others. But the question remains, is India prepared for the monsoon?
And now we shift focus to Delhi, where Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal is once again in judicial custody. Remember, his 3-day CBI remand ended today. There was a hearing in the Rouse Avenue court, and now he has been sent to 14-day of judicial custody. Another setback for Arvind Kejriwal. Here's a report.
Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal will continue to remain in Tihar jail. He has been sent to 14 days of judicial custody. Despite serious allegations against him in the Delhi excise policy scam, Arvind Kejriwal remains defiant. The Aam Aadmi Party backs his innocence. The party staged a protest in the national capital against his arrest by the CBI. Security was increased outside the Aam Aadmi Party headquarters as protesters intensified their protest. Meanwhile, the BJP has hit out against Kejriwal.
जांच एजेंसी कानूनी प्रक्रिया के तहत काम कर रही है और जांच एजेंसी ने एक प्रोसेस ऑफ लॉ के तहत अरविंद केजरीवाल को गिरफ्तार किया है। हाई कोर्ट ने 9 अप्रैल को स्पष्ट रूप से कहा है कि शराब घोटाले में अरविंद केजरीवाल की संलिप्तता है और उन्होंने किकबैक में पैसे लिए हैं। ये धरना प्रदर्शन करेंगे और भ्रष्टाचार के मुद्दों से ध्यान भटकाने के लिए इस तरह की हरकतें करते रहेंगे।
Kejriwal will be kept in judicial custody till July 12th and will be presented in the court at 2 p.m. on that day.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, Hemant Soren, the former Jharkhand Chief Minister, he has been released on bail and he was welcomed back, and it was celebration time for his family and party workers. Now, he has, of course, once again targeted the centre and said that the government is misusing the agencies to quell the opposition. Let's take a listen in to what he had to say. Here's a report on that.
A day after Jharkhand High Court granted bail to Hemant Soren, the former Jharkhand Chief Minister and JMM leader was today welcomed by the party workers. Soren hit out at the BJP upon his release.
बहुत तरीके से अलग-अलग रास्ते से आएंगे, हम लोग को राजनीतिक रास्ते से भटकाने का प्रयास करेंगे, लेकिन हम लोगों ने संकल्प लिया है, हम लोग जरूर, हम लोग थोड़ा समय लगता है क्योंकि हम लोग के पास वो सोच नहीं है जो उनके जैसा सोच, ये मनुवादी सोच, ये सामर्थ्य सोच को आज जब्त करने का वक्त आ गया है। विधानसभा में हम लोगों ने इसका ताकत का एहसास कराया है और इधर विधानसभा में तो इन लोगों का जो सपना है, उस सपना ये लोग देख रहे हैं,
The Indie bloc is rallying behind him.
एक व्यक्ति के इशारे पे ये सारी संस्थाएं पॉलिटिकल लीडर्स के पीछे पड़ी हुई थी। दुनिया के उन्हीं मुल्कों में ऐसा होता है जहां तानाशाही प्रवृत्तियां होती हैं। धन्यवाद न्यायपालिका का। समझ में इनको आना चाहिए कि फर्जीवाड़ा करके अपने चुनाव से बाहर रख दिया ना हेमंत जी को, कब तक रखोगे? कभी न कभी तो न्याय की जीत होगी। इसलिए इस तरह की हरकतों से बाज आइए। सरकार बहादुर, ईडी, आईटी, सीबीआई को आपने जो बना दिया है, उनके चरित्र को फिर से वापस पुराने दौर में करिए।
Calling allegations against him false.
जिस तरह से लोकसभा में जो जनादेश आया है और राहुल गांधी नेता प्रतिपक्ष बने हैं, तो अब इतना आसान नहीं है मनमानी करना। सरकार बदलने के बाद विपक्ष के नेता पद पर राहुल गांधी आने के बाद ही, या विपक्ष की ताकत जो आपने देखी है वो देखने के बाद ही हेमंत सोरेन जी को बेल मिला है। केजरीवाल को मिलेगा। अब देखिए।
Soren was arrested by the Enforcement Directorate on January 31st in connection with the land scam case.
Today in the national capital, JDU President and Bihar Chief Minister Nitish Kumar held a national executive meeting, which was in fact a high-stakes national executive meeting, and several important issues were taken up. A key agenda was set up, and even the special status for Bihar was one of the highlights of that. Here's a report.
The JDU held its national executive meeting today, in which party chief Nitish Kumar demanded a special status for Bihar. The Bihar Chief Minister highlighted economic and development disparities of the state. He said that a special status for Bihar will accelerate Bihar's growth trajectory and address the state's unique challenges.
हम सबका विशेष राज्य का दर्जा या विशेष पैकेज की पुरानी मांग है, वो मांग हम लोगों का कायम है। हम लोगों के जो नेता हैं, ललन सिंह जी हैं, संजय झा जी जो यहाँ पर हैं राज्यसभा में और लोकसभा में जो पार्टी के नेता हैं, ये लोग आने वाले समय में प्रधानमंत्री जी से मिलेंगे और अपनी बात को रखेंगे मजबूती से।
In the same meeting, the JDU appointed Sanjay Jha as the party's national executive president.
बहुत बड़ी जिम्मेदारी हमारे नेता और हम लोगों के राष्ट्रीय अध्यक्ष मुख्यमंत्री नीतीश कुमार जी ने दिया है। मैं उनके प्रति कृतज्ञता व्यक्त करता हूं और निश्चित रूप से नीतीश कुमार जी ने बिहार को ट्रांसफॉर्म कर दिया 20 साल में, तो इनके काम को बात को लेकर के अन्य जगह भी जाना ये एक उद्देश्य रहेगा। लेकिन बड़ी जिम्मेवारी जो प्रस्ताव सब पास हुआ है उसको आप देख लीजिए, लेकिन अभी मेन यही है कि बिहार में जो चुनाव हुआ अभी उसने दिखा दिया कि 40 में 30 सीट हम लोग जीते। 177 असेंबली सीट पर आउट ऑफ 243 हम लोग चुनाव जीते हैं। वो तो अब 2025 में जो विधानसभा चुनाव होगा बिहार में, उसके लिए सिग्नल दे दिया बिहार ने।
In the meeting, Nitish Kumar also spoke at length about his loyalty to the NDA.
उन्होंने राष्ट्रीय कार्यकारिणी के सामने घोषणा की है, अब वो सदैव के लिए इसी गठबंधन का हिस्सा रहेंगे, दैट इज एनडीए। दाएं बाएं जाने का, आप चाहे कुछ भी लिखते रहो, दाएं बाएं जाने का हमारा प्रश्न ही पैदा नहीं होता। जो बिहार सरकार ने आरक्षण लागू किया था, जिस पर सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने हाई कोर्ट ने बैन लगाई है, उस पर हम सुप्रीम कोर्ट में जाएंगे।
विशेष राज्य का दर्जा मांगते रहे,
उसके आगे भी मांगते रहेंगे।
पैकेज पर भी राज्यों में क्या
राज्य नरम हुआ है। आज हमने अपने प्रस्ताव में दोनों चीजें रखी।
Nitish Kumar also spoke on how in the next elections he will lead the NDA.
नीतीश कुमार जी के नेतृत्व में 2025 का चुनाव लड़ा जाएगा। इसकी घोषणा न सिर्फ प्रधानमंत्री ने की है, बल्कि राज्यों के जो प्रदेश पार्टी अध्यक्ष हैं भाजपा के और सदन के जो नेता हैं दोनों, वो सार्वजनिक तौर पर ही घोषणा कर चुके हैं।
While Nitish Kumar pledges his allegiance to the NDA, will the centre approve the special status demand for Bihar?
And now the latest that's happening on the NEET scam. Well, the investigation is underway. It's a multi-city investigation. Day after day, we are seeing the CBI making arrests in the paper leak allegations also. But remember, viewers, the opposition continues to politicize this matter, also raking up in the parliament, not for discussion, but only for disruption, it seems. And now, M.K. Stalin, who is the Tamil Nadu chief minister, he has now written a letter to the prime minister, to the centre, and asking the centre to exempt his state of NEET. He has written a similar letter to Rahul Gandhi, who's the leader of opposition, and also urged the Indie bloc partners to in fact pass a resolution and in their respective legislative assemblies on the same. Here's a report to know the latest.
Nationwide uproar on the streets. In Delhi, ruckus and disruption in Parliament.
मैं पीड़ित हूं, मैं अचंभित हूं। भारतीय संसदीय परंपरा इतनी गिर जाएगी कि प्रतिपक्ष के नेता वेल में आएंगे, डिप्टी लीडर वेल में आएंगे।
In Tamil Nadu, the Assembly has passed a resolution against the NEET exam. Not just that, Tamil Nadu Chief Minister M.K. Stalin has written a letter to Prime Minister Modi and 8 chief ministers to skip the medical entrance exam NEET. The opposition is riding on the anger of the students.
ये वो एजुकेशन मिनिस्टर हैं जो अपनी जिम्मेदारी से भाग रहे हैं। ये वो एजुकेशन मिनिस्टर हैं जो युवाओं की आवाज़ नहीं सुन पा रहे हैं और युवाओं की जो तकलीफ है उसको सुनने को तैयार नहीं है। ये वो एजुकेशन मिनिस्टर हैं जिनको जब नीट की पूरी कार्रवाई सामने आई थी, नीट के बच्चों ने आकर कहा था किस तरीके से 67 टॉपर्स बन जाते हैं, किस तरीके से ग्रेस मार्क्स अलॉट कर दिए जाते हैं। वो अपनी लड़ाई सुप्रीम कोर्ट में लड़ते हैं क्योंकि एजुकेशन मिनिस्टर के पास समय नहीं है अपनी राजनीति से। क्या ये बेहद शर्मनाक नहीं है कि आज देश के युवा संसद की तरफ देख रहे हैं कि हमारे सांसद इस बात को उठाएंगे कि हमारी क्या तकलीफें हैं। ये सिर्फ युवाओं की बात नहीं है, देश के फ्यूचर की बात है और वो अपनी जिम्मेदारी से भाग रहे हैं।
The government says that it is ready for a discussion.
उन्होंने कहा जब राष्ट्रपति जी ने अपने अभिभाषण में खुद ही जिस प्रसंग पे कांग्रेस उठा रही है उस पे खुद राष्ट्रपति जी ने अपने ओर से उल्लेख किया, हाँ देयर आर सम चैलेंजेस, वी हैव टू लुक इनटू दैट, वी हैव टू इरेडिकेट ऑल दिस प्रॉब्लम्स। ये आदरणीय राष्ट्रपति जी के अभिभाषण में अभी की इस नीट परीक्षा के बारे में उल्लेख किया।
CBI has intensified its probe in the case, with multiple accused getting arrested from Hazirabad, Latur, and Patna. Banning the NEET exam will only benefit the private organizations. Why use students for political gains?
All right now we're sipping a very short break, viewers, but don't go anywhere. Lots more lined up on the other side of this very short commercial break.
In the India Today Best Universities 2023 survey, India's #1 ranked universities in various streams are JNU Delhi, Amity University, AIIMS Delhi, IIT Delhi, and National Law School, Bengaluru.
Get ready to witness the best technology extravaganza of the year. The first edition of the Republic Business Emerging Technology Awards has received an overwhelming number of nominations. Dominating the categories are AI and robotics, healthcare, edutech, fintech, banking and finance, and martech. Groundbreaking innovations and revolutionary ideas from the largest digitalized economy in the world. Join us as we celebrate India's incredible digital growth story. Republic Business Emerging Technology Awards, Friday, 5th July 2024.
आज का दिन भारतीय संसद के इतिहास में इतना दागी हो गया है कि प्रतिपक्ष के नेता स्वयं वेल में आए हैं। ऐसा कभी नहीं हुआ है। मैं पीड़ित हूं, मैं अचंभित हूं। भारतीय संसदीय परंपरा इतनी गिर जाएगी कि प्रतिपक्ष के नेता वेल में आएंगे।
You are telling me all this public conversation was wrong? You think there was no attempt at taking on or publicly criticizing the Prime Minister?
Let me complete. He talked about...
And was that not unfair to the Prime Minister?
No, tell me.
Was that not unfair to the Prime Minister?
Was the opposition very responsible in what he said? So if you pick up what Mohanji said, fits equally well to opposition parties. It fits.
But he did not specify opposition?
He didn't specify anybody. He will not specify anybody. He said opposition also dragged us in. He clearly said that we also were dragged into election with fake news. He said that, right?
No, but he did not say the Congress did the fake news.
No,
he did not make a single. He did not make a single reference. He did not make a single reference to the Congress, which has accused the RSS of being a fascist.
Only proves my point.
Fascist Nazi type organization.
It only proves my point that he did not name Congress. Why do you want him to name
Why
BJP?
play with words?
You are naming BJP.
Why play with
not
words?
Mohan Bhagwat.
Why play
you
with
are playing.
words?
This is not play with words.
Was this an attempt
You
at
are
a
playing with the
motherly?
word. I am saying.
Was this an attempt at a motherly reprimand of the BJP by the RSS?
See, for that they have enough time to talk to each other in private. No, he want to speak.
Wouldn't this look like an ego war between the RSS and the BJP?
Why?
Relevance.
They are 10 years they are together. For 10 years they worked together. In Ram Mandir, he was sitting next to Modi ji for the inaugural, right? And he complimented Modi ji continuously all these years that for the work he has done. Why would you come in public to tell him
That's exactly my point, that 10 years you've worked together. Why immediately after the results come out, you start chiding the BJP openly?
Again you are saying this.
You're chiding the BJP openly?
Again saying.
All the elections the BJP won, the RSS never said well done. One election the BJP does a little less than expected. The RSS stands up and see, don't be arrogant. Don't choose the wrong people, don't have the wrong alliances, don't speak the wrong language. It's like a motherly reprimand.
No.
Motherly reprimand.
You yourself said he didn't name Congress. So why are you assuming he named BJP? It's for you to judge, no?
No, it was a conjunction. It was Mohan Bhagwat, Indresh Kumar and the gentleman sitting in front of me, Ratan Sharda. Ratan Sharda said something, and after that, Indresh Kumar, oh, by the way, Indresh Kumar.
He withdrew his statement.
Indresh Kumar comes and
he
says...
He statement in the...
No, but what did he say? Withdrawal.
He did not withdraw his statement.
Withdrawal is not the issue. Withdrawal is not the issue. No, it's not the issue. He said, Indresh Kumar said...
I am not responsible
Indresh Kumar... No, you are not responsible. But उन्होंने क्या कहा? जिस पार्टी ने भगवान राम की भक्ति की, लेकिन अहंकारी हो गए, फिर अहंकार, लेकिन अहंकारी हो गए, उसे 241 पे रोक दिया. किसने रोका? या तो भगवान ने रोका या आरएसएस ने रोका. हालांकि वो सबसे बड़ी पार्टी बनी और जिन लोगों का राम में कोई विश्वास नहीं था, उनके एक साथ मिलकर भी उनको 234 पर रोक दिया. Now the question is not that he later went on to backtrack this comment. Because let me explain to you what it says. He says, again the reference is to ahankar. Ahankar, viewers, means arrogance, means pride, means, sort of self-aggrandizement. Now, my question to Ratan Sharda ji is, and he's avoiding this question, is, I don't think all of this is accidental. Mr. Arrogance, ego, self-reflection. You were arrogant, you were egoistic, you must self-reflect, you must introspect. That's why you were stopped. A true sevak is never arrogant. A true sevak never uses bad language. You chose your alliances wrongly.
You repeating the same argument twice over will not change my comments. You want me to read my arguments again?
Why was this?
It's waste of time.
No, but why was this going on and on?
But when Indresh ji withdraws his statement or he makes a new statement, he should pick up that statement, no?
Why? The second statement must have been made under pressure.
What is under pressure?
There must have been a call from the BJP saying, please don't embarrass us in public.
He himself is a senior leader for years together.
Yeah, but the fact is
so why would he withdraw the statement? Because somebody said...
Maybe all of you felt that you went overboard in your initial reactions castigating the BJP.
No, not at all. I still believe I have as a well-wisher what I said about BJP is right. It is for you to draw the conclusion. I know that I have got phones from BJP workers and leaders who said what you said is right. We should relook.
Where the software engineer meets the gifted content writer to create the big dream. The world comes together at Sharda University.
With over 1,12,718 startups igniting innovation, driving digital growth. Over 800 million internet users are bridging distances and strengthening bonds across the globe, making India the third largest digitalized country in the world, accounting for around 46% of the world's real-time digital transactions. To celebrate the makers and shakers behind Digital India and India's phenomenal Digital Yatra, Republic Business is delighted to bring its inaugural Republic Business Emerging Tech Awards.
सर माइक तो दे दीजिए।
माइक मैं बंद नहीं करता हूं, पूर्व में भी आपको व्यवस्था दी थी, यहाँ कोई बटन नहीं होता। राष्ट्रपति अभिभाषण पर माननीय प्रतिपक्ष के नेता, मेरा विषय है कि आपको दो नहीं, आप जितना आपकी पार्टी का समय आप पूरा भी ले सकते हैं, मुझे कोई आपत्ति नहीं, आप डिटेल में बोलना, लेकिन एडजॉर्जमेंट मोशन पर और अन्य विषयों पर पहले ही व्यवस्था दे चुके हैं। इसलिए मैं सदन से आग्रह करूंगा कि आप प्रतिपक्ष के नेता हैं, आप संसदीय मर्यादाओं का पालन करेंगे, ऐसी मेरी अपेक्षा आपसे। माइक मैं बंद नहीं करता हूं, पूर्व में भी आपको व्यवस्था दी थी, यहाँ कोई बटन नहीं होता।
सर माइक तो दे दीजिए।
Hello, welcome to Republic once again. You know, we've been wanting to do a series of interviews with people who often comment on the news. You see them on my programs as the people who illuminate the panel with their knowledge. And one such person who I truly admire, because he's not just a great Hindu scholar, he's very forthright. And he doesn't hesitate from putting out his political views. And on most occasions than not, I must confess, I like him because he agrees with my views and I agree with his. But we are not a mutual admiration society. I am very, very fond of and proud of Dushyant Sridhar, who has I'm grateful that you came to my studios today. He's come to our studios and he's come on a very auspicious day, a few days after he's released this book, viewers, which I'm going to be reading. It's Ramayana, Volume 1, by the one and only great Hindu scholar, Dushyant Sridhar. And Dushyant, namaskar, thank you for coming. And I must say, that is wonderful surrogate advertising around your neck. What are you wearing, Dushyant?
Yeah, that's the front cover of my book.
That's the front cover of your book, which means you're really into the book.
Very much.
When I spoke to you, and you said that you wanted to spread the word about this book, it seemed you was totally into it, and you sent me a voice message which was very detailed. People write books as authors. It doesn't appear to me you're writing the book as an author only here. Am I correct?
Yes, I am an author in a way, but at the same time, Arnab, I am a devotee of Valmiki Maharishi, who has documented, chronicled, and presented Rama's biography as is. It isn't a myth. It is history for us. True Astikas in Sanatana Dharma and Hinduism in Bharatadesham believe that Ramayana is history. And what Valmiki has documented is history. And what I have tried presenting through Valmiki's eyes is also history.
So you have, let me ask you about your method first of writing the book, your source material, your inspirations, your illustrations, etc. So can you tell me the method and the way in which you divided the book? Because, and how have you divided the various stories that you enumerate? You have a total of 108 stories in the book.
Yeah. So Valmiki has taken the efforts to give us the biography of Rama, and he taught them to the sons of Rama called Lava and Kusha, and they presented to Rama, and that has been accepted or ratified by Rama. So that is Valmiki's original text of close to 24,000 verses in 7 cantos. We call it Kandams, Balakandam to Uttarakandam. And Arnab, there have been a plethora of people who have written before. My namaskarams to all of them, like say Rajaji, Kamala Subramaniam, R.K. Narayan, and many modern retellings. But what happens is, to a generic reader, to a normal reader, if they read Ramayana, they may have a lot of questions. Where, when, why, how. So all these questions have been answered by a lot of commentators, 6 commentators in Sanskritam in the last 1,000 years. So those teachings have been interspersed and embroidered into my writing in such a way that it doesn't seem like a research book. It is like a normal novel book, a novel that is being read. So that has gone into the book. Inspirations have been drawn from the other Bharatiya versions like Kamban's Ramayanam, Ezhuthachan's Ramayanam in Malayalam, Tulsidasa's Ramayanam in Awadhi, Jaganmohan's Ramayanam in Odia, Krittibasa's in Bengali. So many Ramayanams have also inspired this work. Besides, there is a small dash of accepted legitimate creativity in this book, so that I stitch the loose ends, and illustrations have been done for every chapter by Keshav, the famed cartoonist for over 40 years, and then we have also taken illustrations of artifacts and sculptures which are related to the Ramayanam the last 2,000 years from various dynasties.
When you said where, when, etc., when is this period? I mean, if you're saying that this is a historical fact, it's a biography, it's a historical treatise in a way, the Ramayana. What is the answer to when? When was this happening?
One version of the Puranas speaks about 432,000 years of Kali Yuga. Twice is Dvaparam, thrice is Treta, 4 times is Krita. So 4 plus 3 plus 2 plus 1 is 10 into 432,000 years, which is 43,20,000 years is one Chatur Yugam. And we believe we are in Kali Yugam, and 2 Yugams before, which is in Treta, this must have happened. But when we look at the date, looking at the astronomical details given in it, a research scholar whom I respect a lot, Jayashree, and I together sat down and we kind of landed at about 5,114 BCE, roughly 7,000 plus years before. That is also taking into corroborated evidence. So we have arrived at that time period. So 2,000 years before roughly before the Mahabharatam, and 7,000 years before from now. So 5,000 years is Mahabharatam before, and 7,000 is Ramayanam is what we spotted. But we also respect the numbers given in the Puranas. So it is true that it is history. The numbers may go +5, -5 this way, that way, but the geographical details, the astronomical details given by Valmiki is astounding and very helpful for us to even be a cartographer looking at the map.
So for young people seeking their roots, is this a good book to read?
Absolutely. 10 plus, I don't know, children mature very young these days, so I wouldn't even put the number 10, but 10 plus years, there's no upper limit.
But I use the word roots. I didn't say religion alone. So is reading this book essential for every Indian searching for their roots?
Absolutely. Even our devout Christian or Muslim friends, 10-20 generations before, their ancestors must have had links with the Bharatiya civilization. They should also read the Ramayana to understand what are the do's and don'ts of a human being. It is not about religion at all. Yes, it belongs to the Hindu religion. There's no doubt that Ramayana is a very respected scripture. But at the same time, what's the harm? Because, in 1980s and 90s, we have seen people across religions watching Ramayana and Mahabharata serials. So why should they not read this book as well? So everybody.
We've been through, I think, in my own lifetime, I see that there was a period when through television, people's interest in Ramayana went up. And then it came down also. I mean, I thought that the early 2000s till the mid-2010s was a period when we sort of lost touch, when Hinduism was not seen to be, if I may use a very generic word, cool. Religion was not seen to be cool, moving away from religion, individualism, focus on the individual, and everything with religion was seen to be archaic. Do you agree with that view? And do you see that change a wee bit now?
Yeah, so there should have been a small lull. I do agree with that. But as a speaker who gives discourses called pravachanams in both my mother tongue Tamil and in English, not just in India, across the other countries as well, day in and day out, I give 250 lectures a year. I see a live audience. I see that the age group between like 15-20 to 50 years, there is a surge in that. So I see that that curve right.
Young Indian is interested?
Absolutely. See,
why is that?
That's one I can attribute it to some extent to the Honorable Prime Minister of India, because in the last 10 years we have seen that there's no harm in celebrating your civilization. Just because you celebrate your civilization, it doesn't mean you're demeaning the other religion or civilization.
Why do you credit the Prime Minister for it?
Because, see, as a head of the country, it was deemed sometime in the past to not be a part of religious functions, anything to do with Ramayana or Mahabharata, but he sports those symbols on his forehead. He goes one temple after the other, not foregoing his duties. He does dispense or disseminate his duties and knowledge very well. At the same time, he does go to inaugurate corridors and temples that have lost sheen in the past. So that's one thing. And second thing, Arnab, it's also because of the internet and the social media, people feel 10 seconds may I can see a beautiful temple. Why should I not visit the temple and no more? So there's no more. Jigyasa is always there in the people, and there is a search. There's no
because there are a lot of people on the media, and you're very active on digital media, who are working more against Hinduism rather than for it. Would you agree with that view? More people who sort of try and associate Hinduism with militancy, with violence, with archaic views, with casteism particularly. Are there more people doing that job as compared to those who are on your side?
I wouldn't. Yeah. So looking at certain videos, I do feel that there is a bias, there is a prejudice. Either it comes from very little understanding of the religion, misinterpretation of verses, or probably they could be funded or paid. I don't know. Because when you look at the videos, it doesn't seem like a natural outpour. It feels as if there's something taught and said. But all that said, there is also a positive aspect, Arnab. As long as you keep having such narratives, people like us will keep working hard to break those narratives.
You're very provocative also. Why did you do the book launch in Chennai? Which is interesting because, by the way, do you know Udayanidhi Stalin got bail today?
Yeah.
Are you happy about it?
See, more than being happy or not happy, or not, as a party person of DMK, I wouldn't expect anything different from him. But as a sworn-in minister, he should have been more careful. And I would rather put it this way. When you're a chief minister, you're a prime minister, rather you're a minister itself, you treat everyone equally. You
think he doesn't?
See, otherwise, why would you say eradicate, annihilate, cholera, encephalopathy? What is all this? These are in the words that you expect from a minister.
It comes out of deep hatred. Antipathy.
But that shouldn't be the deep hatred, because the respected wife of the chief minister, Srimati Durga Stalin, does go temple after temple. So it's not that he doesn't see the culture in his house. He sees
what's happening in Tamil Nadu vis-a-vis Sanatan Dharma. You know, it is the state. I remember as a child when I went, when I was told by my father that and my mother that we'll go around the south, and the primary reason we went was to go deeper into our Hindu culture.
Very true.
I remember I started with Guruvayappam, went right up through Tamil Nadu. So I remember a state with the maximum temples, and in fact I'm told the maximum number of villages with the Lord Ram in them, name Ram in them. But now we've seen so much, or is it only in the public discourse that we read, you know, anti-Ram, anti-Sanatan propaganda? Was it a conscious decision, therefore, to release this book from Chennai?
Though I was largely born and raised in Bangalore,
sure.
Chennai has been a karma bhumi for me. So I give a lot of discourses, dance productions, heritage tours, all based in Tamil Nadu. So that is like a very state, very close to my heart. That's one reason. And second reason, you did bring up this, that there are plenty of temples, true. The maximum number of domestic and international tourists to Bharat Desham comes to Tamil Nadu. And 85% of the tourists visit those temples constructed by the Pallavas, Cholas, Pandyas, Vijayanagaras, Nayakas. And 80% plus of the state population is Hindu. And it's a huge surge in the attending astikas coming to temples. So there's no doubt, the generic public of Tamil Nadu is very, very devout. And you were talking about the villages. Or no, the very popular Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu was called M.G. Ramachandran. His wife was Janaki. Jayalalitha was going temple after temple. She was extremely devout. I can tell you, I gave a show for Jaya TV in the year 2012 and my show was repeated. I got a call at 2 a.m. in the morning stating, "Ma'am wants to see the program again." On Narasimhavataram. So they played it again. So, and Karunanidhi, the name Karunanidhi signifies Rama's name. Karunanidhi Ilalo, because Rama is treated as a treasure trove of compassion. And the ideologue of Dravidian movement, Periyar, was called Ramaswamy. So Ramaswamy, Ramachandran, Janaki, Jayalalitha, Karunanidhi. Where is atheism here? So I feel even the politician names are related to Rama. Forget the village names. Forget the temples. So this is the temple. Bhagavatam says, Utpanna Dravide Saham. Bhakti was born in Tamil Nadu, says Bhagavata Mahapurana. And the Arvas have done a yeoman service. Ramanujacharya, Vedanta Deshika, what intellectuals we had in Sanatana Dharma. Yes, the obnoxious statements of a few political leaders may give an impression that the state is atheist. Absolutely not. There's complete bhakti.
What about the people? What about the people?
Again, based on the voting pattern, we cannot determine. They are all very, very devout. Maybe, you know, this 8,500, khatakat, fatafat and all of that may induce a certain set of people. So things have to change. We have one nice person coming up called Annamalai. So, you know, it does take time, but we do see a promise in certain set of politicians in Tamil Nadu. Though it may take time, a lot of people are hoping to see the change.
You think that will happen? You see, I think that what's happening here, Dushyant, is that people are associating the rise of interest in the Hindu religion with the BJP, with the rise of the BJP. And hence, does that pose a threat?
For example, Rajaji wrote the Ramayana many decades before me. I don't think he belonged to the BJP. So
but that was a different time. There was no BJP then.
Exactly. So because a lot of the leaders with the nationalist, with the religious mindset, with the civilizational ethos, lived in other parties as well. Now that is kind of converging in BJP. But I would say if parties believe that they too have respect for civilizational ethos, they should go to the Ram temple, they should read the Ramayana, burning the copy of Ramayana. All this doesn't serve anybody's purpose.
Yeah, so, you know, why do you think that following Sanatan traditions, therefore, just to go deeper into that question, is instantly equivocated with polarization in India? This does not happen elsewhere. But it happens uniquely in India. You know, when the Prime Minister visits the Vivekananda Rock Memorial, for example, for meditation, he's communal. When he visits the Ram temple, he's communal. So, when the Prime Minister meets the Pope recently, you saw the kind of comments that came out of that. So, I feel somewhere there's a very concerted effort among a section of academia who are used probably by political parties, or maybe who use political parties in turn, and they want to permanently picture Hinduism in a certain light. They don't want Hinduism to be seen to be the source of a great civilization. They want to present Hinduism in a completely different way.
That's also because, Arnab, their understanding of the Hinduism itself as a civilization, as a religion is absolutely minimal. It is in the minus. So their
very colonial, I think, in fact.
Yeah, very colonial.
For example, when someone like Christophe Jaffrelot talks about caste.
Yeah.
You know, then I studied anthropology. I keep saying that Louis Dumont, for him, the entire basis of understanding Indian society was caste. Of understanding Hinduism was caste and purity and pollution. Very structured academic thinking, which is aimed at demeaning a religion. My thesis is, and I'd really like your more informed take on this, and I've always wanted to ask a scholar like you of Hinduism. I studied social anthropology, Dushyant, and I found it, the colonial interpretation of social anthropology, very insulting to my religion, because I could not identify the deep thoughts. I mean, I'm no Hindu scholar, but the deep intellectual core of Hinduism, I could not relate that to what Hinduism was presented to me when I studied it in India and abroad, which is that purely based on caste and hierarchy and social stratification and injustice and purity and pollution. That is how it was presented to me.
Very true.
That is somewhere ingrained in the minds of Western academia. Now, it's Christophe Jaffrelots and all these Louis Dumonts on one side.
and people like you on the other, how are we going to balance things out? How will we put the right picture out about Hinduism, not just in India and abroad? Slightly long question, and a greater responsibility on people like you, Dushyant, since you're young, you're English speaking, to also take this globally.
Yes or no? See, for example, when I'll just make this very brief with regards to caste. See, Rama is a Kshatriya. He kills a Brahmana called Ravana. So I don't think anywhere does the Varna of a Vaishya or a Shudra come into picture. It is a Brahmana who's being killed by a Kshatriya.
But that's occupation.
To a large extent, there is some extent to birth because he was a son of a Brahmana, but at the same time we also deal with, what I'm trying to say is, they shouldn't picturize the book as a Brahminical hegemony, because a Brahmana is being killed by a Kshatriya, written by Valmiki, who was earlier a dacoit, and then because of Narada's grace became a writer. So there's, and Guha, a boatsman, a Nishadanam Neta, Kapikulapatihi, Kapishavari. That Guha is the most Atma Samassakha. Rama says there's no greater friend than you, Guha. And Shabari, she lives in the forest. Nishadanam Neta, Kapikulapatihi, Kapishavari. She was addressless. Rama goes to her hermitage and accepts her fruits. He goes, seeks friendship with Hanuman and Sugriva, who were of Vanara Jati. So Ramayana in a way signifies what the society was in those days. So vis-a-vis the projection what the West makes of it. That's also because either they would have had an agenda, or they were deficient in the language in which the book was rendered, so they came up with misinterpretations or wrong translations.
100% agenda.
So that's how these scholars too follow that. So Ramayanam is a beautiful picture of how the society was in those days or not.
But do you think today there is a nexus of a lobby that supports Sanatan baiters, a nexus of NGOs, academics, who have sort of monopolized their authority over what is popular culture, what is popular discourse? And what happens is that since these are the people who hold academic positions, see Dushyant, when an academic writes a book as opposed to when a Dushyant Sridhar writes a book, an academic writes a book in an academic way. So that gets footnoted, appendicized, it goes through that quote-unquote university rigor. And I read somewhere that artificial intelligence picks up things that can be quoted, sourced, etc. in a certain way, and that forms a certain circle of opinion. And that circle of opinion becomes self-perpetuating.
Correct.
So if there are 5 people who academically say Dushyant Sridhar is right-wing communal fanatic, and if you can get 5 Christoph Jaffrelotz to write that, then it becomes part of an enduring academic legacy, and hence that gets perpetuated in discourse as well. I'm asking you, how do you fight that?
I have 300 footnotes on this in this book. Besides being a retelling of Valmiki's Ramayana, 300 footnotes, of which 30 are from copper plate inscriptions, which are 1,000 years old. There are 60 plus illustrations right in the last 2,000 years of Gupta dynasty till the Nayaka dynasty. So just to say that this is I'm building a fictional understanding of the Ramayana. So all these are footnoted, have been corroborated, ratified. See, the point is, Arnab, whether I'm called right or left is not the problem. I'm saying Ramayana is right. It isn't myth. It is history. It is right. So that's the point I'm trying to prove. When people come for debates, they should be able to quote the verses from the Ramayana. They cannot just say that I read somewhere in the Wiki Purana, I read somewhere in... that doesn't work. You quote the source. You quote that particular verse. If someone asks you, what Sumitra told Lakshmana, I should say Ramam Dasharatham Vidhi Mam Vidhi Janakatmajam. That's how we have been trained. We have not been trained to read the English translations which say, oh Lakshmana, the lotus-petaled one, comma, semicolon. No. We know the verse, we quote. So it's just like chemistry. When you deal with Mendeleev's table, you deal with Kotler in marketing, same is the case with, there's a very academic approach. And if there are historians of the past who have written a different version of Ramayana and they wish to debate, I can openly invite them for a debate.
So Dushyant, finally, people would say that if you were to look at a very sort of 50s, 60s Congress version of what good and bad is in this country, then people would say that, well, Dushyant Sridhar is very well informed, he's very well read, he's very articulate, he's a great performer, a great speaker, but he's not tolerant, he's too aggressive, he's too argumentative, and that goes against the ethos of Hinduism. I like it personally, a lot of young people would like you, but I when I saw that you refused to perform at the Madras Music Academy, over your profound disagreement with the choice of the Sangeet, I think, Kalanidhi Award designate T.M. Krishna. You said that you were pained by his statements on Ayodhya, on Ram and Dharma. Now, question is, why would you have such a big argument over that kind of issue? I mean, you have on many, and to that, your critics would say, Hinduism is about tolerance, accept their point of view. Their disagreement and your acceptance of their disagreement is at the core of Hindu philosophy. So, can I get your take on that?
Very quickly, Arnab. The Madras Music Academy is a place where I've performed many times. I have immense respect for it. Great stalwarts like M.S. Subbalakshmi, M.L. Vasantakumari have received this Sangeeta Kalanidhi Award. Great stalwarts, great bhaktas they were. So my problem is not either with the academy or with the award. My only disagreement was with the award being given. I'm no musician. I'm a performing speaker. I intersperse music, that's all. But the point here, point of contention was, we as speakers or musicians make a livelihood, whatever we charge, based on the kritis sung by Tyagaraja, who had immense devotion for Rama. When I sing their composition with not a penny going for their samadhis or museums, and I make a livelihood out of it, and the next day I choose to sing on Periyar, who hung a chappal mala around Rama, neither can I perform, nor can I stand on the same stage as him. I wouldn't abuse the musician because he'll be really talented. But for me, it is a question of moral travesty. When you make a livelihood out of singing praises about Rama, your family runs the money out of it. You cannot speak about or sing about a person who abused Rama. He had obnoxious statements. Periyar's statements were so high, even Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru in a letter called him a lunatic. So I think at least the Congress people should respect Nehru for his words. So I wouldn't want to perform on such a stage, and if I'm losing money, I'm losing an opportunity, so be it. I have other avenues to get it.
Well, fantastic. Well, I like your attitude. And though there's been limited time on this, I hope I have another conversation with you when you come up with your second volume and your third volume after that. So ladies and gentlemen, I'll plug this again. It's a HarperCollins book, Ramayanam, Volume 1. My weekend reading. You can make it yours as well. Dushyant, it's a pleasure to have you with a network which considers you very much one of its own.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You must be often left wondering through the week that many issues that register in your mind as important are lost as a blip in the daily grind. I'm going to help you. Pick up those issues, untangle them, dissect the politics behind them, and ultimately give you a broad sweep, a deep dive.
Induction of RSS abusers, you spoke about this, induction of congressmen who had actively promoted the bogey of saffron terror and persecuted Hindus, who called 2611 RSS ki sajish and branded the RSS as a terrorist organization, became BJP leaders without as much of a regret note that they had made a mistake. Who are you talking about? Name the person, no, kya hai?
I put the name.
No, tell me who is the person.
This person later, after the article of 4 days, he released a regret letter from BJP letterhead from BJP headquarters, Kripa Shankar Singh. He said, I made a mistake, and you know, I was influenced by Digvijay Singh, and this said that there is a long letter he has sent. So he released the letter. So when you express your opinion, somebody listens.
But you thought that was a mistake. It was a terrible mistake, wasn't it? That why do you think the BJP did it? I was also wondering, why did the BJP go all out to get people who he thought was winnable or was adding numbers in individual constituencies?
Now, whether he's winnable or not, that would be BJP
or adding
round report. I wouldn't know.
He thought it would hurt others.
Naturally, these are the kind of people who lost elections.
In the India Today Best Universities 2023 survey, India's #1 ranked universities in various streams are JNU Delhi, Amity University, AIIMS Delhi, IIT Delhi, and National Law School Bengaluru.
With over 1,12,718 startups igniting innovation, driving digital growth, Over 800 million internet users are bridging distances and strengthening bonds across the globe, making India the third largest digitalized country in the world, accounting for around 46% of the world's real-time digital transactions. To celebrate the makers and shakers behind Digital India and India's phenomenal Digital Yatra, Republic Business is delighted to bring its inaugural Republic Business Emerging Tech Awards.
Get ready to witness the best technology extravaganza of the year. The first edition of the Republic Business Emerging Technology Awards has received an overwhelming number of nominations. Dominating the categories are AI and robotics, healthcare, edutech, fintech, banking and finance, and martech. Groundbreaking innovations and revolutionary ideas from the largest digitalized economy in the world. Join us as we celebrate India's incredible digital growth story. Republic Business Emerging Technology Awards, Friday, 5th July 2024.
Did Narendra Modi go wrong? Is there a problem between Mohan Bhagwat and Narendra Modi? Does the Sangh believe the BJP has grown too big for its boots? Was the Sangh angry with JP Nadda's interview in the Indian Express where he said that we do not need the electoral help of the RSS? These are questions on everyone's conversation.
I do not know what Mohanji thought because Mohanji spoke after 4 days of my writing the article. It just shows that Swayamsevak have similar thinking. And he is a supreme leader, he thinks before he speaks and every word of his is measured. As I said, the context was wrongly chosen. And secondly, he also talked about the fake news which affected RSS also. RSS was dragged into the election, which was not done. And since you talked about provocation, there is no provocation. It's just that organizer asked me to, write an article about lessons of 2024. And I sat down to write, and all the things that came to my mind, I put it down. And
you were writing on
organizer is good enough.
You were writing on your own.
Yeah, and organizer good enough that they said, I asked them whether they want to publish it. He said, there is no harm at all.
From Asia's largest news headquarters, setting the agenda for Bharat. You're watching Republic.
This is Republic and you're watching This Is Exclusive with me, Shavan Sen. Ladies and gentlemen, we are taking you through a gruesome murder story coming in from Muzaffarnagar in Uttar Pradesh. A 21-year-old girl was brutally assaulted and then murdered by her husband. 24-year-old has now been taken into custody by the Muzaffarnagar police. In fact, an attempt was actually made by her husband to dispose of the body. The body was chopped into 4 parts and then it was put in a sack, disposed of. That's story number 1. We then get to the story of the Pune Porsche. In fact, this time, Pune police has made it very clear that they really do not care much about this case. They make no mention of the blood samples in the charge sheet that has been filed. And not just that, they've not even recorded the statement of key people in the charge sheet that has been filed. All this and much more on this edition of This Is Exclusive. But first, these are the headlines we are tracking at this hour. Ladies and gentlemen, Delhi, Rajkot, Jabalpur. Canopies of airport collapses after few hours of rain, but who is responsible for the apathy? Family who lost their loved ones in apathy over monsoon mayhem narrates ordeal demands probe. No relief to Arvind Kejriwal. Delhi Chief Minister remanded to 14 days judicial custody. Bihar Chief Minister Nitish Kumar holds here key JDU meet demands special status for Bihar.
राष्ट्रपति जी के अभिभाषण के उपरांत धन्यवाद प्रस्ताव होती है उस सारे विषय में इसको उनको अवसर है चर्चा करने के लिए और सरकार की ओर से मैंने कल ही आश्वस्त किया है स्पष्टता के साथ कहा है कि हम सभी प्रकार की चर्चा के लिए प्रस्तुत हैं.
Probe in NEET scam gathers pace. CBI arrests a journalist in Jharkhand, conducts searches in Gujarat. Government says Congress opportunists want chaos. Sensational final report by Pune police skips mentioning blood sample in the report. The statement of biomedical waste firm in question also not recorded. After Owaisi raises Jai Palestine slogan in Parliament, he now claims that Israel flag was put at his residence and ink was thrown as well. Indian origin astronaut Sunita Williams is stuck in space. NASA finds measures to solve issue. Prayers in India for her safety. It's a story of a grisly murder coming in from Uttar Pradesh's Muzaffarnagar. In fact, while the police has already taken action, this is a grim reminder of what we had seen here in the national capital too. Ladies and gentlemen, 21-year-old was brutally assaulted by her husband. Then her body was chopped off into multiple parts, disposed of in a sack. In fact, an attempt was actually being made by the accused in this particular case to dispose of the body in a river. That's when locals actually spotted him trying to dispose of the body. In fact, the motive of the murder is not known at this point in time. But our reporter on the ground getting us a detailed report as to what really happened and what is it that the family members have to say.
We are just standing outside Arbaz, the butcher who killed his wife by cutting her into 21 pieces. So as per the sources, what the police is still questioning the neighbors as to ascertain the details of the girl, but so far they haven't got any details so far. What we have got to know that during interrogation, Arbaz revealed that her wife was from Kotdwar in Uttarakhand, and they were in a relation. They married 6 months back. I will now request my video journalist to just pan across and show this is exactly the house where Arbaz lived before he committed this murder, and this is exactly the place where he has lived. And let us remind our viewers that he mercilessly killed his wife and chopped her into 21 pieces, and now he is in jail. And the official complaint of this case is lodged in the Kotwali Nagar police station in Muzaffarnagar. Now it needs to be seen as to where this case is headed. We would like to remind our viewers that the couple married 6 months ago, and lately there were some problems that were happening between them, due to which certain fights used to take place. And they were living in a rented flat, and the girl named Chahat didn't inform her relatives before marrying her. This side Aditya reporting for Republic TV, Muzaffarnagar. आपके बेटा अरबाज वो जो जेल में गया है, क्या कारण था उसने अपनी बीवी को मारा? थोड़ा बताएंगे मैम? मैम कुछ बताएंगे? अभी आप जेल में है, क्या आगे?
हमें नहीं पता था, हमें नहीं पता, हमारे साथ लग रहता वो।
अच्छा, लेकिन कुछ ऐसी क्यों उसने ऐसा करा? आपने मतलब आपको ऐसा पता नहीं लगा? ऐसी
परेशानी हो कि करा होगा कोई, थोड़ा ही कोई करे।
अच्छा, कुछ थोड़ा सा उसके आदतों के बारे में बताइए। किस तरह की से उसके दिनचर्या थी, वो क्या करता था, मतलब उठकर उसके कैसे वो, अब मैं मतलब हमारे को पता लगा कि वो एक रेंटेड फ्लैट में रह रहा था। आप बिना बताए तो आपने कुछ कहा नहीं जब वो रेंटेड फ्लैट में रह रहा था?
बच्चों और छुप से रख रखी थी उसे, क्या नाम, मारे बगैर मर्जी के रह रहता है अलग।
सर, कल जो हमने देखा, ये जो अरबाज लड़का जो अपनी वाइफ के, जिसने अपने टुकड़े टुकड़े करे अपनी वाइफ के, बहुत बेरहमी से जिसका कत्ल करा, आप इस पूरे इंसिडेंट को कैसे देखते हैं? मतलब हाउ डू यू सी दिस इंसिडेंट?
इसमें देखिए कि परसों रात जो है पुलिस को मुखबिर के माध्यम से सूचना प्राप्त हुई कि इसमें 2 लड़के नदी के किनारे कुछ संदिग्ध गतिविधियां कर रहे हैं। जब पुलिस द्वारा तुरंत मौके पे पहुंचा गया तो वहां पे एक बोरे में वहां पे ये इसको नदी में बहाने की कोशिश कर रहे थे। इसमें से पुलिस को देख के एक आदमी वहां से फरार हो गया। जो दूसरा आदमी है उसको वहां से हिरासत में लिया गया और जब इस बोरे को खुलवा के देखा गया तो उसमें एक महिला की लाश थी जिसमें उसका सर कटा हुआ था और उसके हाथ की कुछ उंगलियां कटी हुई थी। जब इससे पूछताछ की गई तो इसने बताया कि ये एक चाहत नाम की महिला है, जिससे इसने अपने बिना परिवार वालों की सहमति की और बिना परिवार वालों को बताए इससे इसने अपने स्तर से शादी कर ली थी और लगभग 6 महीने पहले इससे शादी की थी। और इसके बाद में इनके आपस में जब दोनों के बीच में अनबन होने लगी तो इसने आवेश में आके और इसका अपने एक और दूसरे साथी के साथ मिलके और जहां ये कमरे में किराए पे रहते थे वहां पे इसने इसका मर्डर कर दिया और ये शव को छिपाने के इरादे से वहाँ नदी में लेके गए थे। उसी वक्त पुलिस ने इन दोनों को पकड़ा है। इसमें शव के बहुत ज़्यादा टुकड़े टुकड़े नहीं किए, इसमें उसका सर अलग किया उसने और उसके अलावा उसके हाथ की उंगलियां जो है वो उसने काटी है। पुलिस ने इसमें मौके से पंचायतनामा भरवा के पोस्टमार्टम की कार्रवाई की है। और जो महिला है ये उत्तराखंड के कोतद्वार की बताई जा रही है, जिसके परिजनों के बारे में अभी पुलिस जानकारी जुटा रही है। और ये संभवतः ये लगभग इसमें प्रेम विवाह में इन्होंने शादी की थी और फिर इसके बाद जो है ये घटना हुई है।
सर, जैसे आप कह रहे हैं कि 2 लड़के थे, एक को पकड़ लिया गया, एक अभी भी फरार है, तो कब तक अभी इन्वेस्टिगेशन क्या, कब तक वो पकड़ा जाएगा? कब तक हम समझ सकते हैं कि वो कब पकड़ा जाएगा? और पुलिस प्रशासन इस चीज़ में क्या कर रही है?
इसमें जैसे ही ये घटना का अनावरण हुआ था इसमें तुरंत एक एसपी सिटी के नेतृत्व में टीम का गठन कर दिया गया था और इसमें उस जो वांछित अभियुक्त है उसके संबंध में कई क्लू पुलिस को मिले हैं और शीघ्र ही उसकी जो गिरफ्तारी सुनिश्चित की जाएगी।
कब तक, कितना टाइम लग सकता है?
देखिए, किसी भी अभियुक्त की गिरफ्तारी के बारे में एग्जैक्ट टाइम नहीं कहा जा सकता। पुलिस अपना काम कर रही है, लगातार जो उसके संभावित स्थान है वहाँ पे दबिश दे रही है और इसमें शीघ्र ही गिरफ्तारी की जाएगी।
सर, अगर मैं पूछूं, ऐसा ग्रुसम ये जो केस सामने आया मुजफ्फरनगर में, हम मान सकते हैं मुजफ्फरनगर में क्राइम को कंट्रोल करने के लिए पुलिस प्रशासन क्या कर रही है? पिछले कुछ समय से कितना क्राइम रेट बढ़ा है कि घटा है, किस तरह की स्थिति है?
देखिए, अगर आप क्राइम का डेटा कंपेयर करेंगे तो मुजफ्फरनगर में एज सच कोई क्राइम जो सनसनीखेज क्राइम जिसकी आप बात कर रहे हैं उसका कोई परसेंटेज बढ़ा नहीं है, इनफैक्ट उसमें कमी आई है। और जो भी इस तरह के अपराध होते हैं उसमें मुजफ्फरनगर पुलिस जो है वो अपराधियों के खिलाफ कड़ी से कड़ी कार्रवाई करती है और उसमें जो भी कोई सनसनीखेज अपराध होता है उसको माननीय न्यायालय से उसको जल्द से जल्द सजा दिलवाने का काम भी मुजफ्फरनगर पुलिस इसमें लगातार करती रहती है। थैंक यू।
Well, just a quick recap of what we know so far. While the police has already taken action and the accused has already been arrested, the question is whether at all this was premeditated, given the fact that now complaints are essentially emerging that an attempt was also made in the past. Now, that's what the police is essentially investigating at this point in time. Let me also bring in my colleague Aditya, who's joining us on this broadcast from Muzaffarnagar. Aditya, you've spoken to the police. Walk us through the details that you're picking up. Was this premeditated? Was there an attempt made in the past too?
Well, yes, Shavan, a gruesome case of murder has been reported in Muzaffarnagar city. And what we can remind our viewers that sections in this case, sections 302 201 and 120B have been applied against the accused. So now let us explain our viewers actually what these sections are. Section 302 pertains to murder, where the imprisonment can go up to life imprisonment, and whereas Section 201 pertains to the tampering of evidence. You know, when the accused husband was trying to disperse the body of her wife, one accomplice is on the run and the other accomplice is in police custody. So it needs to be seen as to where this case is headed. So far, the police is just investigating the case, and in this case, they are questioning the neighbors as to ascertain the details of the girl, as to what are the details, but they haven't been able to get all the details about the girls. So it needs to be seen. Right. But during the interrogation, the husband... so it needs to be seen as to where this case is headed. Yes. Back to you.
Well, thank you very much, Aditya, for getting us the ground report from Muzaffarnagar. Shall we focus now to the story that we have been tracking for the last several weeks? The spotlight that has been put on the Pune Porsche case. We've been saying right from day one that the Pune police has completely botched up the entire investigation, starting with the blood samples of the VVIP killer, which was tampered with, and the fact that not just that, there have also been an angle of bribe. The accused in this particular case attempted to bribe the doctors in Sassoon Hospital. The recent revelation that has been made is this, that the blood sample, which was inconclusive, the first blood sample of the VVIP killer was inconclusive, and that's the reason why a DNA sampling was done. First of all, the Pune police had lied about the fact that they had taken a second sample as a precautionary measure. The second is that the company, which was basically responsible for the biomedical waste in Sassoon Hospital, was not even taken into record, because remember, the blood sample was actually destroyed, was thrown in that medical waste. Take a look at this report. We have put together the lapses on the part of the Pune police.
A brat and his Porsche, a murder and the Pune police's cover-up. After blatant collusion between the Pune police, the mafia family of killer brat and politicians, the Pune police is now not even hiding its compromised position in the case. Final report does not even mention about the blood sample. Shockingly, in the final report of the Pune police has conveniently skipped to mention the blood sample. What's more is that the statement of the biomedical waste company has not even been recorded. The blood sample was dumped into a bin managed by the said company. The final report of the Pune police confirms that the administration is not even hiding its complicity in the cover-up anymore.
The breaking news now coming in is with regards to the final report that has been submitted to the Juvenile Justice Board by the Pune police, and once again, it is now confirmed that the Pune police essentially does not really care about this entire investigation. In the final report, they make zero mention, absolutely no mention of the blood samples. Second, they've not even recorded the statement of the biomedical waste company that was responsible for collecting the medical waste from Sassoon Hospital. Remember, the blood sample was disposed of. Joining me on this broadcast is my colleague Sandeep, getting us the latest details. Two clear example of how Pune police has completely botched up the investigation.
Right, Shawan, absolutely. As the final report has been filed in this very matter, one of the important point out here is that, you know, the police has gone on to in fact mention the way the blood samples were in fact changed. The blood sample was in fact swapped in Sassoon Hospital. Not only that, the final report also mentions about Sunil Tingre's men, Ashfaq Makandar, getting involved into this and how blood sample were in fact changed. Now the blood sample were collected by Dr. Shri Hari Harnol, who was the CMO at the Sassoon Hospital, who was in fact arrested. Now he threw that original blood sample of the juvenile into a dustbin, and that blood sample were in fact dumped into the biomedical waste. Now there is a company which manages the biomedical waste of the Sassoon Hospital. Ultimately, the Pune police has clearly mentioned that they are yet to record the statement of the biomedical waste company officials who in fact manages the biomedical waste, and ultimately the blood sample was the crucial evidence in this very matter, but that has not been recovered. So the Pune police has mentioned about how blood samples were in fact changed, how the blood samples were swapped, what all action they have taken against the doctors who were in fact involved in this very manipulation of blood sample. Not only that, around 150 pages final report has been filed, and in fact it also mentions about how the driver was in fact kidnapped by the grandfather. So ultimately, what all investigation and what all actions that have been in fact taken by the Pune police, that have been jotted down in this very final report, which is around 150 pages. But the biggest loophole in this very matter, the biggest lapse in fact, is the blood sample that is disappeared, that has disappeared, and the Pune police is not in a position to in fact tell the court that they have the blood sample. Neither they are in the position to tell that where exactly is the blood sample, and in fact this is a clear-cut failure of Pune police, wherein they don't have the original blood sample of the juvenile, which could have in fact been a crucial evidence to prove the fact that the juvenile was under the influence of alcohol. Although they have submitted the bills of the clubs and the bar where the juvenile had consumed alcohol, but ultimately whether it is admissive before the court or not, that is something very crucial. Ultimately, all onus on Pune police. Where are the blood samples of the juvenile?
Well, thank you very much, Sandeep, for getting us the latest details. The question here is that they have already admitted that there was no blood sample. Now it's official that the case has been completely diluted. Will the state government take up this matter before the Supreme Court? In fact, remember, the High Court has already asked them to send the juvenile to his aunt as part of the observation. Will this order of the Bombay High Court be challenged by the state government? Shifting focus now to the other story that we are getting to you from the state of West Bengal. After Sandesh Khali, a similar incident has now taken place in Kuch Bihar. The government says that they've already made arrests in this case, but the BJP has upped the ante, saying that there is absolute lawlessness in the state of West Bengal. In fact, you've had the leader of the opposition, Shuvendu Adhikari, taking up this entire matter. The NHRC has stepped in. Cognizance has been taken by the NHRC. Republic Bangla reached out to the victim, who is also a member of the BJP Minority Morcha. In fact, after the results that came in, there are several BJP workers who have been complaining about their safety. In fact, this victim, who was brutally assaulted, stripped, violated, has spoken to Republic Bangla, talks about the challenges that she has faced and the fact that how they have been living in fear. Listen in to what the victim had to tell my colleague from Republic Bangla.
সেই মুহূর্তে কি ঘটেছিল, তার কারণ পুলিশের তরফ থেকে বলা হচ্ছে যে এটাকে নাকি রাজনৈতিক রং দেওয়া হচ্ছে।
সব টিএনসি চক্রান্ত আমাকে এইরকম করছে, কয়দিন থেকে বুদ্ধি করে বোধ পাই অল্প স্বল্প যে নেতালা সবসময় আমার বাড়ির পাশে আইসে একটা টিএনসির বাড়িতে এইরকম করে গল্প করে যে বলে ধরবো, তখন কাগালা ধরে নাম তো আর কয় না। তারপর সকালবেলা ওইরকম মিটিং করে দিচ্ছে, তা বোধ পাই নদীর পর গেছি 10টা 11টার সময়, যে আসি দিচ্ছি আর অর্ধ আস্তাতে একটা মহিলা টক করে যে একপাশে কয় কি দৌড়েন দৌড়েন, এলে বাকি মহিলা দৌড়ি যেমন কিয়া কত বিজিবি করে আজ দেখামো যে চুলির
মানে আচমকাই বেশ কয়েকজন মহিলা এসে ভিড় করে।
হ্যাঁ সেলা দৌড়ি এসে চুলের মুঠগুলো ধরিয়ে যে ছেঁচলে দিচ্ছে, নাইলে দৌড়ি এসে কাপড় চাপড় সব ছেড়িয়ে নদীতে ফেলে দিছে, দিয়ে খাই ছেঁচলায়, একবার এই পাশে ছেঁচলায় একবার ও পাশে ছেঁচলায়, এত ছেঁচলায়।
কারণ কি শুধুমাত্র আপনি বিজেপি করেন সেই কারণে?
হ্যাঁ, মুসলিম মেয়ে কেন বিজেপি করি এর জন্য এইরকম করছে। তারপর এত চিগড়ি তাও কাউ শুনে না। আমার ছোট বাচ্চারা দৌড়ি যে কয় আমার মাকে ছাড়ি দেওয়া মরি গেল, কি কান্দে দিচ্ছে বাচ্চারা হাউ খেয়েছে, তাও বাচ্চারা ধাক্কে ধাক্কে ফেলে দেয়। অন্য একটা মহিলা এসে পুরুষগুলো ধাওয়া দেয়, কয় আগাইবেন না, যাই আগাইবেন তাই মরবেন। তারপর আমার ভাগ্নি একটা আসি কয় এইভাবে বেউজ্জত কেয়া করছেন, কাপড়া দিয়ে ঢাকা দেয়, কাপড়া টাপড়া নিয়ে ফালটায়। বউটা এসে তাও ফেলে দেয়, দিয়ে গোবরের গাড্ডার চুকবি ধরে, পানির চুকবি ধরে, কয় কি এনে মারি ফেলাম। মাও তো বেড়ে অন্য মাসিক ডাকের গিয়েছে। আর সেগুলো
প্রাণে মারার ধমকি কারা দিয়েছিল?
ওই যে টিএমসিলে কয় কি কয়লে তো গাজি মারি ফেলাম, কায় তো বাঁচে রয়েছে, কাও আসবে না। সেগুলো কং মা মুখ বাসা, মা মুখ মারলে, তা মাও তো শুনে নাই, করতে গেছে। তারপর একাই পাচ্ছি চড়ি বসে দেখি লোক কাতার হয়ে আছে, কাও আগায় না। তারপর পুরুষগুলো দাঁড়িয়ে দাঁড়িয়ে আছে, তখন মহিলা কয় আয় এলেক দিয়ে তো গাজি ধর্ষণ করবো, রেপ করবো, এইভাবে কয়। তখন আমার জিউটা উড়ি গেছে।
আগে কোনো সময় কি কোনো রকমের ধমকির সম্মুখীন হতে হয়েছে? কেউ এসে ভয় দেখিয়েছে, কেউ ধমকি দিয়েছে, এরকম কিছু ঘটেছে?
হ্যাঁ, জবেদ আলী আমাদের বাড়িতে একটা আত্মীয় হচ্ছিল, 2 দিন আগে একটা ভাগ্নি বউ হচ্ছে, ভাগ্নিটি হচ্ছে, ভাগ্নিটার মুকুরত কয় কি কয়লে চুলির মধ্যে ধরে বাড়ি করে ধেদরান, তা মুখং একটা সাগাই হচ্ছে, বাড়ি ঢুকে দেখতো কায় হচ্ছে, তারপর ওইরকম করে। তারপর খায়রুল নেতা কারো বাড়ি যাওয়ার দেয় না, ঝাড়ে বাড়ি যান, তাই কয় কি কয়লে কেন কয় এইরকম করে।
Shifting focus now to the urban apathy that we have witnessed in the last 24 hours. Delhi, Jabalpur, Rajkot, similar situation. Newly built airports, canopies that have collapsed. Who exactly takes responsibility for the death of several people in the collapse that has taken place not just in Delhi but other places too? There's already a blame game that has taken place between the previous governments and the ruling dispensation. Questions essentially being raised that do lives really matter in this country?
Just a day after roof collapsed at the IGI airport in the national capital. And another similar incident took place in Jabalpur's Dumna airport. Tragedy has now struck at the Rajkot airport, where a canopy broke during maintenance work. Fortunately, nobody sustained any injuries in the incident.
मैं यहाँ अपनी सिस्टर को ड्रॉप करने आया था और ये इंटरनेशनल एयरपोर्ट के हिसाब से और बहुत नया बना हुआ है ये, ऐसी चीज़ें इतनी जल्दी होनी नहीं चाहिए थी। दूसरा फैसिलिटीज़ भी अगर जो छोड़ने आ रहा है उसके लिए कोई फैसिलिटी नहीं है यहाँ पे।
कैनोपी में आज यहाँ पे डैमेज हुआ है बारिश की वजह से, आपने भी देखा, कैसा लगा?
नहीं, मैंने देखा तो नहीं है, पर ये ऐसे सब टूटा हुआ दिख रहा है, तो स्पेशली डिपार्चर के बिल्कुल पास में ही है, तो पैसेंजर्स को भी असुविधा हो रही है इससे।
Repair work is underway, but the back-to-back infrastructural incidents at India's top airports has put a light on the country's preparedness for the ongoing monsoon season.
बहुत तेज आवाज आई और सारा पूरी की पूरी ये जो छत है वो गाड़ियों के ऊपर गई। उस टाइम पे पैसेंजर उतर रहे थे फ्लाइटें पकड़ने के लिए।
उस वक्त कोई सी फ्लाइट आई थी?
फ्लाइट पकड़ने के लिए, जाने के लिए तैयार थी फ्लाइट।
आप इंडिगो के ट्रांसपोर्ट टीम के अंदर हैं, आप बिल्कुल सामने खड़े थे जिस वक्त ये घटना घटी?
बिल्कुल, मैं ऊपर ही था डिपार्चर पे। हाँ जी।
अच्छा, तो उस वक्त आपने क्या क्या देखा?
बहुत तेज आवाज के साथ ये छत गिरी एकदम से और इसमें 3-4 गाड़ियां दब चुकी हैं।
Politics is also ensuing on this. The opposition is blaming the BJP for it.
गलत बात है कि हर किसी विषय में राजनीति लाना, पॉलिटिकली स्टेटमेंट करना। जो कुछ नेताओं ने इसके बारे में कमेंट किए, ट्वीट किए कि ये मोदी जी के समय में इसका इनॉग्रेशन हुआ 2024 में और यही सब जो कंस्ट्रक्शन था वो जो कोलैप्स हो गया, तो मुझे लगता है कि लोग ये देखते हैं कि अब कहाँ राजनीति करें, कहाँ कौन सी घटना होने के बाद राजनीति नहीं करनी चाहिए।
Yesterday, the Union Civil Aviation Minister held a high-level review meeting with key officials. Key decisions were taken in the meeting. Airlines were advised not to hike the airfare and maintain fare stability. The ministry also has ordered the setup of a 24/7 war room that will ensure passengers get back their refund.
T1 was totally evacuated, closed for the time being, and all the flight movement has been shifted to T2 and T3. And our initial thought process was that we will take care of all the passengers who were distressed at the time. So whoever's flights got cancelled, they are being given a full refund, and also alternate travel if that is the choice that they provide.
Flights have been suspended at the IGI Terminal 1 following the incident which killed one person and injured 8 others. But the question remains, is India prepared for the monsoon?
Well, that's all that we could pack in this edition of This is Exclusive. We'll be back tomorrow at the same time with more exclusive stories.
Where the software engineer meets the talented photographer to create the big dream. The world comes together at Sharda University.
Get ready to witness the best technology extravaganza of the year. The first edition of the Republic Business Emerging Technology Awards has received an overwhelming number of nominations. Dominating the categories are AI and robotics, healthcare, edutech, fintech, banking and finance, and martech. Groundbreaking innovations and revolutionary ideas from the largest digitalized economy in the world. Join us as we celebrate India's incredible digital growth story. Republic Business Emerging Technology Awards, Friday, 5th July 2024.
Hi there, good to be back. Get Me Right, your deep dive show on what matters to you, what concerns you. From your state government raising fuel prices to the impact of elections in the European Union on India's geopolitical positioning. From supply chain disruptions due to the war in Europe to national security consequences for India of increasing Chinese belligerence in the Indo-Pacific, or even the water crisis in the national capital. If there's a story which matters to you, come here every weekend for insights that complete the picture with the right perspective. Get Me Right. This week I bring to you two stories that panned out over the broad news canvas past week. You might have picked up bits and pieces of them here and there, but they are important enough for a big picture lowdown. First up is the impact of populist measures announced during campaign rhetoric by political parties on the finances of some state governments, and how those impact not just your pockets in the present, but add to the debt you have to pay in future. Second is about resurgence of the right wing across Europe and Americas we will understand why it's happening and what are going to be its consequences for us in India. Let me get you the first one. I was alarmed personally hearing a soundbite on the desk this week. Himachal Pradesh Chief Minister Sukhwinder Singh Sukhu warned of cutting down forests in his jurisdiction to raise revenue unless the centre compensated the state for the in-shambles finances. Sukhu was honest in that he said the forests, 88% of the land area of Himachal, act as a huge lung space for North India and would be detrimental to environmental health if lost to revenue deficit.
हिमाचल के पास जितना भी पानी है अपने राज्य की जरूरत को छोड़कर हम सारा पानी चाहे दिल्ली है चाहे कोई और राज्य हम उनको देने के लिए तैयार है क्योंकि हिमाचल प्रदेश भी इस देश का एक भाग है तो पानी रोकने का कोई औचित्य किसी प्रकार से नहीं बनता लेकिन जो लीगल हिच है जैसे कि पानी ने आना है तो हरियाणा से होकर आना है फिर वो दिल्ली पहुंचेगा तो वो हरियाणा गवर्नमेंट से दिल्ली को सहमति बनानी है हमें कोई हिच नहीं है
Sukhu led the Congress to power in the state last year on the back of promises ranging from restoration of the old pension scheme to cash tolls of rupees 1,500 per month to all women. For the limited rollout of the OPS, the Himachal government increased VAT on diesel by rupees 3 per litre. The women's cash dole scheme is yet to see the light of day, for which it seems Sukhu has threatened a forest burn.
हजारों करोड़ रुपए हम कर्नाटक की जनता को और किसानों को वापस देने जा रहे हैं 2,000 रुपए मिलेगा आपको हमारा एक और स्कीम होगा जिसका नाम सखी है तीसरा वायदा अन्न भाग्य स्कीम चौथा वायदा गृह ज्योति युवा निधि स्कीम के माध्यम से हम 3,000 रुपए हर महीने कर्नाटक के हर ग्रेजुएट को 2 साल के लिए देंगे
In Congress-ruled Karnataka down south, we saw back-to-back headlines of increase in fuel, electricity and milk prices last week. As also government weighing in, revising water charges in urban areas, particularly Bengaluru, given those have stagnated for the last 10 years. The government has been forced to engage the Boston Consulting Group to find revenue sources, apart from seeking the centre's support package to deliver on the promises Congress made during last year's assembly elections.
There is a lot of last 10 years, the water tariff in Bangalore has not been increased. It is suffering a great loss. We have to take new projects. Okay. No bank is coming forward to finance the BWSSP.
In neighboring Kerala, the same story of revenue deficit has prompted the left government to approach the centre for fiscal indulgence by way of increased borrowings. Even as the State Finance Minister, K.N. Balagopal, saw a direct cash package of rupees 24,000 crores during his pre-budget consultations with Union Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman. To make promises and not be able to keep them is bad politics and bad economics, ultimately leading people down the rabbit hole, which can lead to a social stagnation not unfamiliar to India, particularly of the pre-reform generation. And remember, while NDA-ruled states like Bihar or Andhra might seek their share of union government's additional budgetary support to meet their growth ambition, those can't be compared with economically sounder states like Karnataka and Kerala. A look at RBI data of major states last fiscal shows major states that have revenue surplus include Uttar Pradesh, Uttarakhand, Gujarat, Telangana, Odisha, Madhya Pradesh, Bihar and Assam. While states running revenue deficit include Karnataka, Kerala, Maharashtra, Haryana, Punjab and Rajasthan. The pattern of NDA-ruled states being revenue surplus, except for Telangana, and Indie bloc-ruled states being revenue deficit, except for Maharashtra and Haryana, is indicative of how the revenue math gets played out. Not to argue that BJP is above populism temptations when it comes to states. Despite Prime Minister's very public positioning of populism as reverie culture,
आजकल हमारे देश में मुफ्त की रेवड़ी बांटकर वोट बटोरने का कल्चर लाने की भरसक कोशिश हो रही है। ये रेवड़ी कल्चर देश के विकास के लिए बहुत घातक है। इस रेवड़ी कल्चर से देश के लोगों को और खास करके मेरे युवाओं को बहुत सावधान रहने की जरूरत है।
We have seen BJP too giving in to the pressures of competitive campaigns on fiscally unsustainable welfareism.
अभी तक 23 साल या उससे ज्यादा की उम्र की जो बहनें शादीशुदा होती थी उनको योजना का लाभ मिलता था, लेकिन कन्यादान योजना में कई बेटियों की शादी 21 साल में ही हो गई। तो अब 21 साल की बेटी भी जो है उनको भी लाडली बहना योजना का लाभ दिया जाएगा।
But if one looks at the picture from the New Delhi vantage, Modi gets a thumbs up on fiscal management. That is classical conservatism.
In the past, if you look at, and even in the times when I was worked with the government, this government has met its fiscal targets diligently. So there's absolutely no question of the fiscal target being missed. I don't know who was talking about it. I think there was no question about it.
But for the COVID slip, not only has the Modi government stuck to fiscal consolidation roadmap under the FRBM Act targets, but it has also attained a level of finesse in targeted social welfare distribution through the digital public infrastructure created on the Aadhaar backbone. There are studies to show that the digital governance has eliminated middleman-driven corruption, better targeted beneficiaries from deprived sections, and plugged leakages that add to fiscal health of the government. In a way, it's an old yet recurrent debate every election cycle, that of welfare versus populism. State welfareism, or the philosophy of the state taking care of its citizens, if not fully, then in good measure, is as old as the conception of the idea of state itself. From Ram Raj in Indian epics to Kautilya's Arthashastra to Ashoka's Dhamma, India has had a civilizational understanding of a welfare state. In the Western world, of course, all ideas lead to Rome. There are records that show the Roman plebeian council approving distribution of free grain in the 2nd century before Christ. By 3rd century of the Common Era, or after Christ, the grains were replaced by bread, each subsequent emperor adding his own bit of individualism that saw stuff like olive oil, wine, and pork getting added to the welfare doles. One Roman emperor is said to have started free entertainment events called ludi, which were part financed by the public exchequer with personal funds of presiding officials embellishing the splendor quotient. Though there were no elections to be won, the masses had to be kept happy. Like when the DMK in Tamil Nadu promised color television sets back in 2006, calling them a necessity at par with roti, kapda, and makan. Ultimately, there's nothing called a free lunch. For every free bus ride women in Karnataka are getting, it's likely someone in the family is spending more than the ticket price in the fuel burn post the price hike. India's social sector spending stands at roughly 10% of the GDP. The figure is upwards of 25% for the developed economies of the OECD countries, which, by the way, also means that welfareism is not bad. It's even a necessity, perhaps, for low per capita income country like India to sustain basic minimum quality of life for its masses. But the ludi should not cross over into the ludicrous zone, and that we have to work together, the center and the states and all the political parties, to increase the pie to be shared, the GDP that makes us middle-income country. After all, a rising tide raises all boats, as they say.
In the India Today Best Universities 2023 survey, India's #1 ranked universities in various streams are JNU Delhi, Amity University, Ramayana University, Pune Porsche, Assam and Delhi. India's #1 ranked universities in various streams are JNU Delhi, Amity University, Ramayana University, Pune Porsche, Assam and Delhi. India's #1 ranked universities in various streams are JNU Delhi, AIIMS Delhi, IIT Delhi, and National Law School, Bengaluru.
With over 1,12,718 startups igniting innovation, driving digital growth. Over 800 million internet users are bridging distances and strengthening bonds across the globe, making India the third largest digitalized country in the world, accounting for around 46% of the world's real-time digital transactions. To celebrate the makers and shakers behind Digital India and India's phenomenal Digital Yatra, Republic Business is delighted to bring its inaugural Republic Business Emerging Tech Awards.
सर माइक तो दे दीजिए।
माइक मैं बंद नहीं करता हूं, पूर्व में भी आपको व्यवस्था दी थी, यहाँ कोई बटन नहीं होता।
All right, let's move on to the second focus this week. On Monday, President Emmanuel Macron told in a podcast interview that the danger of a civil war was real in France.
As the head of the army, as head of security, I will be determined and I will fight in every way against Islamist terror. What they expect, the trap, is the trap you are going to fall into, civil war.
In fact, as we speak, the French are going through a snap poll for their legislature, ordered by Macron following a defeat his Renaissance party faced in the European Parliament elections a fortnight ago. Far-right national rally of Marine Le Pen won double the vote share of Macron's party, prompting him to seek mid-term validation from the people so that he could continue to govern. From Berlin to Rome, from Vienna to Budapest, European capitals have felt the ripples of the continent-scale shift happening in their politics. The rise of the political right is a reality with which the European establishment has come face to face. And how? There's a reason why I said establishment. For much of the post-World War II period, the mainstream establishment in the West has been left, center-left, or right of center. With the colonialism capital providing deep pockets and the Marshall Plan giving tailwinds, Europe became an economic powerhouse early in the post-war era. The rich world created for itself a welfare state that effectively took care of its citizens from the cradle to the grave. Out of the comforts of those riches came concepts like postmodernism. Broad contours of European welfarism included social protections along with social inclusions, political responsibility of livelihoods, and ironclad commitment to democracy. Much of it, frankly, because the state could afford it. They were rich, they had the money. Cushioned by the riches, the state machinery became predominantly occupied with wealth distribution. Concepts like equality and equity became pronounced in politics, leading to a sway of Marxist ideas. Liberalism became the natural creed of politics, and hence the mainstream establishment. Right was fringe, right was extreme, right was illiberal, right was shunned. In fact, so entrenched became the left that across Europe there emerged something called cordon sanitaire in French, which means a firewall, a well-organized attempt to keep the right-wing forces away, to keep them pinned as reactionary extremists, with all sorts of center-left coalitions coming together to keep them away from the levers of power. But as they say, every idea has a life cycle, a parabola that peaks, plateaus, and then comes down. While European welfarism became an ideal, even seeping into international institutions of governance like the United Nations, back in these societies, there were some deleterious consequences. The fracture of family as an institution was one. While the rise of Europe was characterized by Renaissance and Reformation era Lutheran and Protestant work ethic, the welfarism has produced wokeism, where LGBTQ plus rights and the Palestinian cause take precedence over immediate societal needs. There might be a direct correlation between the increasing wokeism in these societies and the economic woes being faced. Climate activism and its footprint on policy making has had an adverse economic fallout. For much of the last decade and a half, the European economy has been mildly recessionary. The 0.3% growth in positive territory in the first quarter of 2024 has led to a hurrah of relief. Imagine, if India grows at 7%, it's called a slow rate of growth. China is considered anemic if it falls below 5%. You get the drift. The need for hands for physical labor was another consequence of postmodernism. There's a reason why, on a short visit to any of these nations, you would find the janitors and the taxi drivers, nurses, and the subway sandwich maker belonging to non-European nationalities. A mix of colonial guilt and the need for those hands led to a liberal immigration regime in most of these societies. Wars from Afghanistan to Syria have added to the migrant rush, which became a tide over the last couple of decades. Now, Europe has a problem at hand that has become a full-blown crisis. France, for example, which had 7% of its population made up of foreign-born nationals at the turn of the century, has seen the number go up to 12.5% this year, prompting an anti-immigrant law, which Macron pushed and the French legislature passed December last year. In Germany next door, Chancellor Olaf Scholz is also facing the heat. The far-right AfD has made a big jump, becoming the second largest party after the Social Democrats. Not unsurprisingly, Germany's Greens were the biggest losers in the European polls, punished by voters for the cost of policies to reduce carbon dioxide emissions. Job loss to the migrants and restrictive climate policies, clashes rooted in cultural differences, unending waves of illegals stretching public infrastructure, prohibitive living costs, unaffordable housing, have all come together and created a political situation where even working classes in Europe find the left-of-center zeitgeist less attractive than earlier. Let's look at just one of the fallouts of the migrant issue: crime. As I run these graphics on your screen, you would get an idea of the scale of the crisis. The rise of the right must be seen in this backdrop. Geert-Wilders heralded the shift late last year in the Netherlands. Giorgia Meloni in Italy and Viktor Orban in Hungary have been holding forth for a while. In fact, already influencing policy making at the European level through the presence of their party MEPs, or members of the European Parliament, in the continental body. Marine Le Pen called June results return of the nations. Wilders' Party for Freedom is the fourth far-right party to gain power in an EU state in recent years, following Hungary and Italy. Going by the European Parliament elections results, Austria, France, and Germany might follow the trend, with the far-right Freedom Party, the National Rally, and the Alternative for Germany polling higher than the current governments. There's already a domino. In Canada this week, the Conservatives wrested Toronto riding seat in a by-poll from Trudeau's Liberals, the seat shifting to right after a long time. Across the Niagara Falls, momentum is already building up for a Trump comeback. To be sure, the EU vote has not given control over to the far right. The centrist coalition still holds majority under Ursula von der Leyen. But the shift is clearly towards forces that are seen to be representing the angst on the ground against immigration, economic woes, and social fracture. Now let's understand what are going to be the consequences of this on Europe, on the rest of the world, and for us in India. For Europe, there would be visible recalibration of policy making on environment, immigration, on what still constitute the mainstream parties. There could be clear consequences for the Ukraine war. Remember, the far right is traditionally Eurosceptic and hence less anti-Russian. They don't see the Russia-Ukraine war as of their making, and to that extent would influence Europe's overall support to Ukraine going forward. If you add to it the possibility of a Trump comeback across the Atlantic, then we are looking at some difficult times for Zelensky. Hungary and Poland have built border fences. It's become a France versus UK issue as well, with the likes of Nigel Farage saying stop funding France till it stops the boats. UK's Rwanda plan has been symptomatic of the scale of the problem. Europe has never been as closed as this before. It's still not a tipping point in terms of an existential crisis for the European Union. It survived Brexit, but there's a message from a restless EU citizenry that issues of migration and economic mess are real and need addressed. For India, well, we shifted right decisively in 2014. Despite the June 4 blip, Prime Minister Narendra Modi remains firmly in control. The melody memes from the G7 summit earlier this month have not died down. Geert Wilders took very pro-India positions even before he crashed into the headlines last year in the Netherlands. With China in a Gramscian war of position with the West, the realignments towards right in the Euro-Atlantic world add to the already building synergy on both economic and political fronts between India and the West. Good for us. Thanks for watching.
Did Narendra Modi go wrong? Is there a problem between Mohan Bhagwat and Narendra Modi? Does the Sangh believe the BJP has grown too big for its boots? Was the Sangh angry with JP Nadda's interview in the Indian Express where he said that we do not need the electoral help of the RSS? These are questions on everyone's conversation.
I do not know what Mohanji thought because Mohanji spoke after 4 days of my writing the article. It just shows that Swayamsevak have similar thinking. And he's a supreme leader, he thinks before he speaks and every word of his is measured. As I said, the context was wrongly chosen. And secondly, he also talked about the fake news which affected RSS also. RSS were dragged into the election, which was not done. And since you talked about provocation, there is no provocation. It's just that organizer asked me to, write an article about lessons of 2024. And I sat down to write, and all the things that came to my mind, I put it down. And
you were writing on
organizer is good enough.
You were writing on your own.
Yeah, and organizer good enough that they said, I asked them whether they want to publish it. They said, there is no harm at all.
Get ready to witness the best technology extravaganza of the year. The first edition of the Republic Business Emerging Technology Awards has received an overwhelming number of nominations. Dominating the categories are AI and robotics, healthcare, edutech, fintech, banking and finance, and martech. Groundbreaking innovations and revolutionary ideas from the largest digitalized economy in the world. Join us as we celebrate India's incredible digital growth story. Republic Business Emerging Technology Awards, Friday, 5th July 2024.
In the India Today Best Universities 2023 survey, India's #1 ranked universities in various streams are JNU Delhi, Amity University, AIIMS Delhi, IIT Delhi, and National Law School Bengaluru.
Where the software engineer meets the talented photographer to create the big dream. The world comes together at Sharda University.
Hotel Management with AI. Join International Institute of Hotel Management.
With over 1,12,718 startups igniting innovation, driving digital growth. Over 800 million internet users are bridging distances and strengthening bonds across the globe, making India the third largest digitalized country in the world, accounting for around 46% of the world's real-time digital transactions. To celebrate the makers and shakers behind Digital India and India's phenomenal Digital Yatra, Republic Business is delighted to bring its inaugural Republic Business Emerging Tech Awards.
Get ready to witness the best technology extravaganza of the year. The first edition of the Republic Business Emerging Technology Awards has received an overwhelming number of nominations. Dominating the categories are AI and robotics, healthcare, edutech, fintech, banking and finance, and martech. Groundbreaking innovations and revolutionary ideas from the largest digitalized economy in the world. Join us as we celebrate India's incredible...
Mohan Bhagwat's particular comment, which added fuel to the fire, and although he did not attribute it to anyone, but it happened in the immediate aftermath of the results, and when he starts speaking in that speech, he says, जो वास्तविक सेवक है, उसमें अहंकार नहीं आता कि मैंने किया. The Pradhanmantri ji refers to himself as Pradhan Sevak. Comment is made after the results. सबको पता है that the reference is an attempted reference to the Prime Minister. Was it not?
This was a special training batch of the Sevakari people. So when Sevakari people say this, that you must not have arrogance when you serve the people, this is right from Swami Vivekananda's time. And every Sarsang Chalak, right from Dr. Hedgewar, I can quote you the actual...
But it was not a general comment.
It was a general comment.
It was not a general.
It was comment for the Sevaks who were sitting there.
Induction of RSS abusers, you spoke about this, induction of congressmen who had actively promoted the bogey of saffron terror and persecuted Hindus, who called 2611 RSS ki sajish and branded the RSS as a terrorist organization, became BJP leaders without as much of a regret note that they had made a mistake. Who are you talking about? Name the person, no, kya hai?
I put the name.
No, tell me who is the person.
This person later, after the article of 4 days, he released a regret letter from BJP letterhead from BJP headquarters, Kripa Shankar Singh. He said, I made a mistake, and you know, I was influenced by Digvijay Singh, and this said that there is a long letter he has sent. So he released the letter. So when you express your opinion, somebody listens.
But you thought that was a mistake. It was a terrible mistake, wasn't it? That why do you think the BJP did it? I was also wondering, why did the BJP go all out to get people who he thought was winnable or was adding numbers in individual constituencies?
Now, whether he's winnable or not, that would be BJP.
Or adding
round report. I wouldn't know.
He thought it would hurt others.
Naturally, these are the kind of people who lost elections.
From Asia's largest news headquarters, setting the agenda for Bharat. You're watching Republic.
Hello and welcome. You're watching The Burning Question with me, Shavan Sen. Ladies and gentlemen, the first session of the 18th Lok Sabha is already underway. A resurgent opposition with a higher number this time was hoping that they would be in a better position to corner the government. In fact, the fight began with the Speaker's position, so much so that there were threats that were actually issued by the opposition party saying that we'll bring down the government because we have got the numbers, and that the NDA is on the tenterhooks. This week has passed. On The Burning Question tonight, we'll sum through whatever has happened in the parliament. Has the opposition parties been able to achieve what they had basically targeted? Now, this is the 18th Lok Sabha, which began on Monday. And unlike in 2014 and 2019, the mood, however, seems to be very different in the House, and it is expected to be also different. A resurgent opposition who basically claims that they have the numbers this time, cranked up on the NDA government. Ladies and gentlemen, in just about 1 week, the Parliament, it's got abundantly clear that Rahul Gandhi's opposition is picking up where they had left off last time. Is there any new issue that we are really talking about? Yes. In fact, there's an image that I'm going to show you in the course of the burning question. One image that you would constantly see the opposition parties referring to time and again. And that is the Constitution of India, which almost appears to be like a prop for the opposition parties, waving it almost like it's a marketing tool for the opposition parties here. What exactly have they really achieved? That's going to be our core focus this time. There has also been a disruptive tactic that has been adopted once again by the opposition, saying that, look here, since we've got the numbers, we have the right to disrupt the Parliament. They've made a huge issue of the Speaker's post, and again, in a similar way that they've done it in the last time. Then if nothing really has worked, then they started raising the NEET issue. If you remember, what started as a spontaneous attempt by the students to raise about issues plaguing the National Testing Agency, and which I may say so, that yes, these are issues that ought to be raised. But the fact of the matter is that, can we really afford to have students, their future, to be played by some political parties for just their vested interest? That's a burning question. But before that, let's take a look at the headlines we're tracking at this hour. Jabalpur and Rajkot, after Delhi apathy crushes citizens in Delhi, canopy collapses in Jabalpur and Rajkot airport, but politicians busy passing the buck. Probe in NEET scam gathers pace, CBI arrests journalist in Jharkhand, conducts searches in Gujarat. Government says Congress opportunists want chaos. Victim of the Kuch Bihar horror narrates her ordeal, says her sari was torn, she was pulled by hair, dragged and assaulted by Trinamool Congress goons. West Bengal governor seeks report. Indian origin astronaut Sunita Williams is stuck in space. NASA finds measures to solve the issue. Prayers in India for her safe return. No relief for Delhi Chief Minister in litigate probe. Arvind Kejriwal sent to judicial custody till 12th of July in excise policy case on CBI plea. Well, through this week, if there is one image that I'm sure each one of you must have seen, is that of the Constitution of India. In fact, I'll refer to that right now, because this is the image that you may have seen through the week. And this is what the opposition wants you to see again and again. But I will also place the issues that they have raised. Now, the Constitution, as you can see, this was a protest that took place outside the Gandhi statue in the Parliament. You have almost all the opposition parties, the Trinamool Congress, the Congress, all coming in, once again saying that the Constitution should be protected. They think that this is exactly what has worked for them in this election, so they can basically use this as some sort of a marketing tool. Over the course of the burning question, I will actually tell you how the spirit of the Constitution has been destroyed by these same very parties who feel that it is the birthright to use it for their own narrow political interest. As far as the ruling dispensation is concerned, are they really on the back foot this time, given the fact that you've had several issues plaguing, particularly in the manner that NEET examinations have been handled, and not just NEET, there are several other examinations competitive examinations which have come under the scanner, which have been completely compromised, but there is a larger issue that has also been raised. Joining us on the burning question tonight from the BJP, you have Sardar RP Singh, Patabi Raman from the TDP is going to join us, Subrashta, and I'll also take you through the guests who are joining us on this broadcast. But before that, let me just quickly take you through a consolidated report of what really happened in the Parliament through this entire week.
I, Rahul Gandhi, having been elected a member of the House of the People,
our constitution long live! Long live, long live!
that I will uphold the sovereignty and integrity of India, and that I will faithfully discharge the duty upon which I am about to enter. Jai Hind, Jai Samvidhan.
मैं पीड़ित हूं, मैं अचंभित हूं। भारतीय संसदीय परंपरा इतनी गिर जाएगी कि प्रतिपक्ष के नेता वेल में आएंगे, डिप्टी लीडर वेल में आएंगे।
एक मिनट, एक माननीय सदस्य की शपथ है, प्लीज प्लीज। एक शपथ है, शपथ। माननीय सदस्य, एक माननीय सदस्य की शपथ है। प्रतिपक्ष के माननीय नेता, इनको सबको समझाओ कि कब उठना है, कब बैठना है।
तानाशाही मुर्दाबाद, तानाशाही मुर्दाबाद। जय संविधान, जय संविधान। भारत में कर रहना है, जय संविधान कहना है।
माननीय सदस्यगण, हर विषय।
The opposition's strategy hasn't really changed. They are back to their same old tricks to disrupt Parliament. Will BJP benefit by India adopting same stale parliamentary tactics? That's the burning question tonight.
Joining us on the burning question tonight, we have Sardar RP Singh of the BJP, Patabi Ram of the TDP, Subrashta, political analyst, joining us, along with Congress being represented by Shyam Prasad Mekka, Akashdeep Muni, political analyst, Akhilesh Katiyar, Niladri Bhattacharya, and Pula Rao. Let me straight away begin by asking Subrashta this, because Subrashta, if there's one dominating theme this week in the Parliament, it has been whether at all the Constitution can actually be used in the manner the opposition is actually using it. Some argue, what's wrong in it? The Constitution belongs to every Indian, so the opposition is only reminding the NDA, the ruling dispensation, that you ought to follow what's there in the Constitution.